Do this. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Indie Game Club. We appreciate all of those who are watching, whether you're on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. We really appreciate it. My name is Michael Zytkow. I am the founder and executive director of Potions and Pixels, a nonprofit organization based out of beautiful Charlotte, North Carolina. Always got to give Charlotte a shout out. We are a nonprofit organization that utilizes games to create social impact. So we hope you will check out our website and see the work we do, all the community projects from designing games with the city of Charlotte, museums, as well as working with youth, workforce development projects. We have a lot of things going on. So we hope you will check that out, as well as a lot of upcoming events. You'll also notice I'm trying to rock a little different look. Of course, 2020 has been a bad year in many ways, but one of the other tragedies, unsung tragedies, I guess I can say, is that my wife got me this grill for Christmas, and I haven't been able to wear it at all in 2020, outside of MagFest, where Amar and Jordan saw me. So if I'm speaking with a little lisp, it's for the sake of fashion. We'll see it here. You can tell me in the comments. I'm sure we'll get some trolls here letting me know. But thank you all again for jumping in. Of course, Indie Game Club airs on Mondays and Thursdays. On Mondays, we play the games. On Thursdays, we discuss them with this amazing group here. And we have different guests every week. On Tuesdays, we have a community conversation series where we explore different topics. The first conversation we had was Black Voices in Gaming. It was an amazing panel discussion, which you can still catch right now on Facebook and YouTube. We followed that with a conversation called Women in Gaming with the wonderful folks at the Athena Alliance. Two of their members are with us today, so we really appreciate that. Shout out to the Athena Alliance. In fact, at the end of the stream, we're going to make sure to raid one of the members' stream and send our viewers their way. We followed that with custom game controllers. This was an awesome opportunity to discuss the art, technology, and personalities behind custom game controllers, modding game controllers, all of that goodness. You'll notice all of these conversations are sponsored by our good friends at Lowe's. We really appreciate their support. They support these types of conversations, and we hope you do as well. We'll also give a shout out to Red Bull, who jumped in as a sponsor to throw in an arcade stick, which they gave out to one lucky viewer. So shout out to Red Bull. Following that, we hosted Games to the Rescue, which was an awesome conversation exploring how games are being used to fight against coronavirus. Yes, indeed, that is true. Outside of social distancing and wearing your mask, you should also look at games like Eterna and Fold It and check out this archived video where you can find out how playing those specific games actually leads to potential solutions for Corona. So please check that out. Shout out to Adam Tree in Twitch, as well as Brittany Jackson. Woohoo, I see you there. Thank you, Brittany. Appreciate it. Love watching your stream on Facebook as well. Check out Spooky Dokes for sure. This week, we also had Black Voices in Esports. It was a great conversation. Please make sure to check that out with our friends Chris Davis, Coach Clutch, and Charles Tabor. We really had a good time with that. Next week, we're going to have to change things up a bit. Originally, we had Hispanic Voices in Gaming scheduled, but we're going to have to move that to October because our guest, Julio Nazario, an amazing board game designer based here out of North Carolina, had a scheduling conflict. So we are going to be announcing several more events coming up, including LGBT Voices in Gaming, which we'll probably do several episodes of. Outside of talking games, of course, we like to play them as well. So if you want to jump in with us into our Discord, which the info should be in the description for this chat right here, you can check out Online Game Night, where we play video games and board games. Oh yeah, I see you, Brittany Jackson. You like the look? You like it? Okay, I appreciate it. We do this on Wednesdays and Saturdays. Wednesdays and Saturdays starting at 6 o'clock. So please make sure to jump on that. Also on Wednesdays, we have the Smash and Learn sessions as part of our Potions and Pixels online league. So for this, we do a opportunity for you to learn about specific characters, specific levels, different techniques. It's a great way, regardless of what level you are, to learn a thing or two. And we want to give a shout out to one of our recent winners, Pancakes, who actually jumped in as a special guest. So shout out to Pancakes, who I wouldn't be surprised if he was able to jump into the chat today. On Fridays, we do our King of the Ring sessions. And as you can see there, Pancakes is often the King of the Ring. So shout out to him and all those who will participate. This is sponsored all by Lowe's and Creative Flame Designs. This past Saturday, we held two tournaments. our bronze level tournament, you can see here, with first place winner Alex Chan, second place winner Schmoovy, and third place winner Rory. Now, the nice thing about the league is we really wanted to address the common concerns you see with tournaments where, you got that top AAA player that comes in and sweeps everybody and takes everybody's money, right? So what we wanted to do is have a league where everybody can play people of a similar skill level. So we've divided it among bronze, silver, and gold. And so you'll see the silver tier winners here. First place, Blue Pana. Second place, Super Ace. And third place, the aforementioned Pancakes. And this Saturday, we have the gold level tournament. Every week we host these tournaments, and every week there is real prize money to be had. And this is all completely free, folks, and it is designed with all skill levels in mind. So it's a gold level tournament, but all skill levels are welcome. So whether you are silver, bronze, or brand new to the game or brand new to the league, this week is for you as well, although we are giving priority seating to gold players so that they do not play each other in the first round. But of course, folks, you are here for Indie Game Club. Again, we air our Let's Plays on Mondays and discuss on Thursdays. So I've definitely talked my share here, so I want to take it to the panel. We have our wonderful, amazing group here. And as is tradition, when we welcome everybody, we're going to clap it up. I know you're probably at home or on your phone or whatever, and we're going to be clapping it up for our audience. So briefly, real quick, right above me, we have Amar. To Amar's right, we have Angelic Layla. To Angelic Layla's right, Jordan Navarra. And then last but certainly not least, we have Jessica, also aka Madam Fun Size. So let's start up by clapping it up, folks. Thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. And I'm going to pass it over to you to introduce yourself to the audience before we dive into this week's indie game. So Amar, can you let us know a bit about yourself? And you're also, I should say, this is not your first appearance on Indie Game Club. You've been here before, so let's hear from you.
Second time here. Hey, I'm Amar. I go by Amarika. He, him. Longtime gamer and recently game developer, I would say. You can see some of my games on itch.io Amarika if you want to see those. I actually have a small prototype of a puzzle game that hopefully will make it to your show, Michael.
Yes, absolutely.
Also, I stream sometimes, same name, Amarika, and I guess you can also find me on the Potions of Pixel chat because I always love watching your shows. So
appreciate it, man. Me. And then everybody, make sure to check those games out. We've had, I remember, it was earlier this year. We had Crab Volleyball at an event. I think it was like in February, and man, that was absolutely our game of the night. So make sure to check out Crab Volleyball. We absolutely love it. Awesome. Let's clap it up for Amar. Thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it. All right, let's shift on over to Angelic Layla. Can you introduce yourself, please?
Of course. What's up, guys? I'm Angelic Layla. You can catch me on Twitch. And in the Athena Alliance, I am one of 13 goddesses, Stream Team goddesses. So definitely catch me in the Athena Alliance. I'm also one of the Game Hers ambassadors. And pretty much that's just on Twitch, just hanging out on Twitch with all my peeps, my little community that I have. I usually stream late night, which is hopefully going to change when I can actually do some like regular schedule situation stuff. But yeah, for now you can catch me late night from about like 3 a.m. to noon sometimes. So
love it. Thanks for being here, Layla. We really appreciate it. Let's clap it up for Layla. Thank you for joining us today. Really appreciate it. And we will be sharing more clips of Layla's streams. If you haven't watched Layla's streams before, they are incredibly entertaining because you get a good mix of reactions, a lot of raging, which is always enjoyable to watch. But yeah, we appreciate you being on here, and let's pass it over to Jordan. Jordan, introduce yourself, please.
Yes, I'm Jordan. I stream sometimes too, twitch.tv/Tempest636. I do StarCraft 2 semi-competitively. I sometimes speedrun Dark Souls. I just kind of got into that, and I'll play other stuff too and check out indie games. I used to help run arcade game events, but obviously because of COVID, we don't do that anymore. But I'm still an avid gamer, still love joining these. Mike, also my second time. Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you.
Cool lineup of games both times. So
awesome. I really appreciate you coming on every time, and hopefully we can get you on more and more. I love having you guys on.
Oh, yeah.
It's always a good time. Let's clap it up for Jordan. Clap it up for Jordan. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. And finally, we have Jessica, aka Madam Fun Size. Can you introduce yourself to the audience, please?
Hello, my name's Jessica. I go by Madam Fun Size on Twitch and other social medias. I am a streamer and I play a variety of different video games. I'm also a stay-at-home mom, so my schedule's kind of hectic. I try to stream for at least a couple hours, 6 days a week, and then I jump on later or longer on the weekends if I have like a sitter and stuff. But I like a lot of RPGs and shooters and MOBAs and strategies, really. It's my first time here, so I'm really excited. And yeah, so I'm new to this indie game thing also, so this is definitely an awesome new experience for me.
Yeah. And we're a welcoming bunch, so we want you in the audience, whether you're familiar with indie games or not, this is for you. We kind of describe it as a book club, but for indie games. So thank you, Jessica, for being here. Let's clap it up for Madam Fun Size. Awesome. So every week we do a variety of different games. We try to pick out different genres, different styles, to try to kind of, I guess, challenge ourselves to play different type of games and hopefully challenge you to try different stuff as well. We feel like the indie game scene has so much to offer. I feel like I'm almost exclusively kind of in this world, so I'm so glad to be able to share that with you all. This week we have 4 awesome games to share with you all, and we are going to start that discussion with a game called Wide Ocean Big Jacket from developers Turnfollow. So I'm going to start off with the trailer for you all to watch before we jump into the discussion. So this, again, is Wide Ocean Big Jacket from the developers Turnfollow. So that, everyone, was Wide Ocean Big Jacket. A brief description for you all. This game is about an aunt and uncle who take their middle school niece and her boyfriend on an overnight camping trip. Take part in a classic camping trip, roast hot dogs on the fire, go bird watching, tell ghost stories, grab a beverage from the cooler, and do cartwheels on the beach. It's a short game. It says here about 20 chapters, and I think it took about an hour and a half or so. We might have slightly different times for that. I think you all have already kind of heard me talk a bit about this. This was my game of the week. I enjoyed this so much. Can somebody go and let me know or tell the audience a bit about what are you doing in this game? How would you describe this game? Amar, you want to kick it off for us here?
Well, I only put in half an hour, so I didn't finish
Okay.
it, so no spoilers for me.
Sure.
But I'll give you my impression of it. It's almost like it's a couple of group of people who are going in on almost like on a camping vacation trip, and you later realize that they are. I thought that, it was like a parents and kids, but it's actually like a cool uncle and his wife situation, and they brought in like the teenage, maybe what is it,
Like
it's
12
not
or 13.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, niece. Yeah.
Yeah, and her boyfriend, which is his name is Ben. So you get to experience kind of like almost like the small parts of like the camping, which is it started with the almost like the unpacking, also the taking all the pieces here and there, while they would like have the discussions that you would expect from people that age. The interactions are like super cute, and I think the writing was really, really awesome. The game also has like really cool art style where it's almost like flips between like 2D and 3D. Where like while they are walking, sometimes they would look like they are 2D and they would just move in a really cool way that I haven't really seen in games before. While the environment around you like still like in a cool 3D with like really cool like colors. Like if you take this game to like 10 years before from today, like people might think this is like a cartoon or something because it just looks that good.
Shout out Dexter Chaco for now following. Excuse me if I can spit it out. This girl's giving me a little challenge here. Speaking, appreciate the follow for sure. Yeah, this game I guess can be somewhat placed in the category of kind of the visual novel. I still have mixed feelings about that label in general to be used in the gaming world, but we can say it's a game with fairly limited interactivity. It's quite the linear game. So, Layla, I got a chance to catch your ending of the stream. I love having you on because our views are a little bit different, and so it makes for a great conversation. Can you tell everybody what your overall thoughts? Because I know you beat the game and were inspired to give a bit of a review on your Twitch page.
I definitely so I definitely gave a review during my stream just because I felt like it was needed. I'll say first off that my cup of tea is more like fast-paced, interactive games. Like I like to play a lot of fighting games. So I like things with loads of interaction.
Sure.
Last time I was on here with you guys, we did a visual novel type situation game, but I was able to make more decisions. My decisions affected the ending of the game or the ending of the story. I was able to even, just for the small part, I was able to make decisions for both characters. There was like only one time that I could do that. Now, this, I was very frustrated. It was hard for me to stay, focused on it because the music is very tranquil, which I get because you're out in the woods, you're camping, okay. But on top of that, I was frustrated because I couldn't run. Like I was like, I wasn't able to run. And so not only am I not allowed to make decisions, it's just like I just spam A and read dialogue the whole time, but I couldn't even run to get to the next point. So it was very slow for me. Granted, I did think that they touched on some uncomfortable topics. And me as a mother, I was very like, oh my gosh, like, you know, I'm not ready to have these conversations, but I think it really hit with these conversations being had with someone other than their parents. Because as you're growing up or you're getting older, you don't really, in some situations, I'm not going to say all situations, but like a relatable situation for me was that I was afraid to go to my parents about things. So just having that uncomfortable conversation with someone who isn't necessarily biased because they're your parent, but older so that you can get the advice from them. And I think that that's something that happens often. Kids go to their friends for advice, even though, you know, they're the same age as them, so they don't really know anymore than they do, but trying to find that person to have those conversations with that's an adult figure. And I think that's something that happens often. So I like that they touched on that. It was more so for me, I couldn't stay engaged as much. And when I can't stay engaged, I start making jokes the whole time.
Which, it was definitely an entertaining stream to watch you, no doubt. So please make sure to not only follow Layla, but check out those clips. You know, it's funny. I was looking back at the schedule, and the last episode of Indie Game Club you were on, so we did the visual novels. We did A New Life and Wheels of Aurelia. And for those who watched that, we kind of had different opposite views. On that show, I was kind of saying, hey, there's not enough interactivity. It doesn't feel... But for some reason with this game in particular, which probably has some of the least amount of interactivity, I felt like it captured this atmosphere better than many do. And that dialogue to me was just, and the characters were so well rounded that I think this was so well done. I hear your issues with it. definitely a very linear game. Let's set that straight for everybody. And we should always say, I always forget to do this, but spoilers. We will be talking spoilers. Jordan, can you talk a bit about your reaction to the different characters? Any favorite characters in particular, or how you felt about the story unfolding and the interactivity component as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So I feel like I related most maybe to Chloanne, but she's not my favorite. My favorite's Mord. And the
Shout
first
out to
few
Mord.
minutes, shout out to Mord. Let's go.
Mord's my favorite.
Mord, yeah, what a weird name. But the first few minutes, I was with Layla. I was like, oh man, is this gonna be? Thankfully, I wasn't streaming, so I didn't, get my first impressions out. But I was like, is this gonna be boring? Is this gonna be? I don't know. Then Mord, man, her wit, man, she's so funny,
legendary.
But I kind of believe that like a 13-year-old would question things and troll people in that way, like it was she was funny. So that's what got me started enjoying it. And then when you did start to see that there was depth to the other characters, not just her, then seeing her interact with them, it was great too. Another thing, I was not worried, but I was like, at the start, I was like, okay, here we go. Family camping. This is nostalgia already, but not necessarily all good. Like this is going to be like bickering and stuff, whatever. Because I thought they were siblings at first, but I was like, okay, but they're dating, so that could be a different kind of worse kind of bickering. But it wasn't. It was enjoyable. Like any tensions that there might be in the game were well written and interesting. I'll say that. So it was good. I liked the conversations that they all had, and the way Mord took some left turns out of nowhere was awesome.
Yeah, Jessica, how did you feel about the pacing, like how the story was delivered in these different chapters? What's interesting about it is these chapters are almost kind of like their own segments that you could kind of watch on their own, so to speak, but taken as a whole, it really tells, in my mind, a really interesting story. How did you feel about it all?
I have things to say about it.
Let's hear them.
The most interesting of all of the games we did, so I'm excited to talk about this one.
Yeah.
So I agree. When I first started playing it, which was Friday night, I streamed it Friday and today before this. And at first I was like, I'm not sure about this or where it's going, but I'm going to, give it a good try. And it wasn't until I started playing it today that I really got further into the story. And yes, I agree. I relate to Mord, actually. That sarcastic asshole. Excuse me. That is me. Even as a kid, that's why my brother can't stand me. That I love her. She's hilarious. And it made the interaction with the rest of the characters great. The gameplay was interesting. I do wish I could freaking run. Oh my god, that would have made it so much better. And as a mother also, I agree, the uncomfortable talk around the campfire, that was because I get it from both ends, because I was young also when that happened, and 15, and so I could relate to the aunt side of the story, but I'm also terrified as a mother because I don't want to have that type of talk.
Oh my god.
I get the whole trying to go to someone that's not your parents. Now, my biggest problem with the game, I think, me and my friend, he was on there while I was streaming today, and the grammar is probably the biggest.
There was a couple issues there for sure.
Otherwise, I think it was very interesting, a lot of fun. I wanted to try to get more of the gameplay with the other games today, so I had to put it early, but I want to say I got close to finishing it. Like, we went through the whole night, and I got to the morning, did a couple things, and then I stopped. But I think I'm going to go back and finish it.
I definitely encourage you all to finish it. And for those in the audience, it's about 90 minutes or so. And the developer also added an additional experience afterward that you can try out. It's interesting because last week when what we do with Indie Game Club on Thursdays is we talk about all the games like we're doing now, and then at the end of the episode we check out the trailers for the following week. And so last week we had Fangirl Review on, also a member of shout out to the Athena Alliance. And one of the first things that popped in her head after she saw the trailer, she was like, where is this like teenage or tween age girl and her boyfriend going with their uncle, like them being let out in the woods? I see Layla pointing to the camera, and in fact, Layla, that's the cue for me to pop up a clip of you. We're going to be posting several clips of Layla's reactions here, but let's look at this one. This is a short clip, but it kind of goes a little bit towards the sentiments that Layla is sharing here.
Wow. Ma'am, you have some... I have some questions. Some questions. There might be a reason why you're out here with your aunt and uncle and not your parents. They're like, just take her. Please just take her. Wow.
So, Layla, in that clip we showed, I know you might not remember which one that was, and we have a bit of a stream delay here. But yeah, you had some questions. You said about what's going on with these parents, and yeah, and this seems to be set in 2020, 2019. I think they reference like 17, like the year, assuming 2017. But for all intents and purposes, it looks like a modern game. How do you feel about that component as a parent as well?
So, if I even ever allowed my 13-year-old child, Aurelia, to have...
Uh-oh.
Stop it.
You might have to repeat that again, Layla. We lost
you. Cut out for a second.
I was talking about GameStop.
Yes.
If I even allowed that, like, I wouldn't let that responsibility be on my sister or my brother. Like, you know, like, even if I was comfortable with that. And me personally, you know, some people have their own views or whatnot, but I think 13 is way too young to be having a boyfriend, let alone sleep in a tent together with like someone that I can't. Like, it makes I'm shaking.
I totally understand your point of view. Wasn't the tent like a giant tent, so they were connected?
Yeah.
It was one big tent with a wall, yeah.
Yeah, so they were like inches apart at least. I mean, never mind. I don't even want to go there. That could be.
I feel you.
Still, just be quiet. I don't even want. You're right. I don't even want to go there.
Get firewood, and you know.
You're right.
The fact that they let them go off on their own, I think it kind of occupied like a place of like, I don't know how to describe it, these coming of age stories that we watch and we're so used to. A lot of these stories aren't really realistic, right? Like a lot of these stories are kind of an exaggerated sense of reality. I've kind of compared this game to Wes Anderson type work in a little bit ways. I don't think that's a full-on comparison, but if you're familiar with the director Wes Anderson, Royal Tenenbaum, so many other amazing movies, it kind of feels a bit like that in that regard. And so I was able to overlook, even as a parent and with my son kind of approaching or at this age right now, I was still, yeah, I felt you on that part. I got you.
I mean, like, I feel like if you are, and the other aspect of that I'm able to like try to understand, like I'm trying to understand it, but I guess if you want to have that relationship with your child, like if it was the parents that agreed to do this and you want your child to feel comfortable coming to you about, you know, world questions like that they're not familiar with, and that you want to connect with them in that way and let them be comfortable coming to you about that stuff, then I can see why you might do that. Yeah. I'm not ready. I'm not ready to test that.
Yeah, and on Facebook, Brittany Jackson says, yeah, ain't no solo camping at 13 around here. It's a no for me, dog. Yeah, I think, let's just say, my endorsement of this game is not necessarily a reflection of the parenting involved in this game, because as you've heard, they're not with their biological or their their parents or guardians or anything. They're with their cool aunt and uncle, and who themselves do not have children, and that's also kind of an interesting part of the conversation. Amar, that's one of the things I really like about this game, is that they explore all these little things, and so I feel like that's what makes these characters so well-rounded, is you get a sense of the relationship between all of them, and there's not like a major plot, so to speak, but it feels like this is touching on a specific moment in time that I think we've all kind of felt, like the budding romance, all these things, relationships with adults. How do you feel about the writing, the delivery, I guess the overall message being delivered here?
Yeah, and also the actions, right? So like when you have the cool uncle, one of the quote-unquote cool things is that as he's unpacking, he's already like start to drink, and you can actually like hold your drink while you hold the bag and so on. Yeah. So there's definitely some cool aspect for that. I can't think of I mean, chat, help me out, but like if you can name a game that has a cool uncool aspect, then help me out, show me, because I think this is officially the best cool uncool of all time.
Right. Oh, shout out to Brad.
I don't know if it's
Shout out
It's the
to
first cool uncle. Yeah. So shout out to all the cool uncles that strive to, well, I don't know if I strive to be like him, but close enough. But yeah, the writing was really cool. And then there's a lot of just like visual stuff. Like I really liked how Morg is like super lanky. It's like she has that, and
Yeah.
sorry for saying that, but it's like she has that, like she just became like super tall, and she's taller than her boyfriend Ben in a way. She has like her legs is like the size of her in a way.
Mhm.
It's really cool visually, and it's just like a cool idea for that. The writing is like I like the way they talk with each other is really what kind of got me into the game. I kind of see what like Layla said, and like I have the problem with like movies actually and books, right? Like when you start like reading the first chapter and you're like, please catch me, right? Please get me with the story. I want to sink in already. Otherwise, I'll struggle like going through this. So like when I played this, I was like, they were sitting in the car, and throughout that whole scene, I was just bored, right? Because like I didn't have any connection with them. And then once I got to the point when it was like she like more start talking about like how much she loves hot dogs, and then she ended up going forward and like she ended up like passing out. Well, I don't know. She ended up like passing out because she ate so much. Like that was like a really cool concept. Like you could kind of see her like all the way like and then sleeping, and she's like almost like ate too much. I also want to add the describing. Like they were talking about alcohol at some point, and she described gin and tonic as a bubbly pine tree, which is the best way to describe it.
Literally, I was the same. I was like, yeah, yep, so that's it. Because I'm like, that's not my drink of choice at all.
Never had no. I kept thinking the kids were trying to wait for like the aunt and uncle.
Yep.
So they went to bed. So I kept thinking because they were asking about the alcohol that the kids were gonna go sneak the alcohol out. The bags. I'm like, oh, this is about to happen, and they're gonna try to get it in underage. This is so not good. It's about to be really bad. I had a lot of weird, funny commentary during mine today. Also,
me too. Oh my gosh.
And, she kept wanting to go to the beach. I'm like,
after the beach scene with the teenagers, it's like, why are y'all going to the beach?
The mean teens.
But with the sex talks and stuff, like I don't think it's like the parents didn't want to do it. Like we don't have the backstory for that, but I feel like they were just going on a family trip and more just sprung that shit on the aunt. Like that's how it felt to me, because it was totally like, whoa, I was not expecting. I didn't go smoke a cigarette like right now because that's what the aunt did. I thought that was hilarious. I was like, right, what else would you do? And like if you're a smoker, that's what you would do in this situation. That, or you'd go find that alcohol bottle.
Oh yeah.
So you're gonna like that's not your kid, and you were not ready or expecting to ever do this, and she just catches you out of the blue, like big fucking questions and asking them back to back, and I thought it was really funny.
Yeah, and to the point, I know Layla and Amar want to jump in here. Maybe this will be a good segue to that. I know, Layla, you said something really, I think, really important to understanding this story is that the characters, a couple things. So there's one point where Ben or Brad talks about them kind of being in a bubble, right? Like this is almost their own experience. And I think this is something that the characters, if they were real, they would like reflect back on this camping trip, right? Like it's like a memory, right? That conversation you have with your cool aunt, the time you got to use a cool flashlight or set up a tent. And so Layla, one thing that I thought you said that like really, hit the nail on the head was that you were saying that the characters feel comfortable to have these conversations because it's not their parents. And so I think that kind of creates the setting, the environment for people to be a bit out of their comfort zone. They're not at home. They're with different people that they're normally not interacting with. And so I don't know if you guys wanted to talk about that point. I know Layla and Amar wanted to jump in here, but I think that's a good way of describing it for this audience, that it's kind of an environment that allows for different behavior.
Yeah, I was very worried about Ben the whole time. I'm like, Ben, it's gonna be okay. Like I just want to give him a hug. But definitely, and spoiler, when I finished got to the end of the game, I actually made it to where Ben was the last one with the stick, because I was like, everything's gonna be okay. I want you to reflect back on this, and anytime you feel like down, you just remember this camping trip.
I love that ending scene.
I love that ending scene too. I wanted to ask you, that was one of my notes I wrote to myself, ask you guys what order did you do the sticks at the end, spoiler for Amar.
You guys can go. I'm gonna finish it regardless.
Okay, well then I'll just say what I was gonna say. I think Ben was my last, but not because I chose necessarily for him to be last. I chose the rest intentionally. I had Mord give it to Chloanne because I feel like there's that female bond of asking about, you know, the birds and the bees talk and all that stuff. And Chloanne, not that she disliked them, but she like didn't want kids. She kind of was feeling weird not having a bond. But you know, she did just have that serious talk with Brad. So when you hand it to her, and I'm sure it's different dialogue every way, so I'm curious to hear you guys. When she hands it to him, he's like, why are you handing it to me? What? You're supposed to hand it to the kid. Almost like he's better with kids than her. Like, it was perfect. It was exactly what I wanted to happen. And she's like, well, I wanted to apologize for our conversation earlier and just say that we're good. I was like, dude, great. This is exactly how I wanted. And I was like, I want freaking Brad to hand it to Ben because he was making a bond with the kid.
Exactly.
You know, and he hands it to Ben, and he says this really nice, uplifting thing. I'm like, this is like the game put the thoughtful dialogue in to reflect the character development of the conversations exactly how I felt made sense. So I want to see how the other ways go, but I'm glad it felt good the way I did it.
Yeah, that's the exact way that I did it.
Hell yeah.
And Amar, I know you were wanting to jump in here with some thoughts. What are you thinking?
I mean, again, it's one. I feel like Ben was talking about like serious topics. Like I mean, it kind of shows like what really made this game. What so far making the game for me is that it's how strong like the characters are. It's almost like you can have like 4 good characters and you put them together, and you know you could kind of see the backstories and so on. It's kind of me, but I was gonna make a joke about how like you guys were like worried about like more being in the same tent, and I was like, oh well, it's also with Ben. So if apparently you guys haven't met Ben yet.
Oh, poor Ben. Shout out Ben. Ben's a cool guy.
Good point. Ben's a little dweeby.
But like Ben was like taught, but like you can speaking of like kind of like finding that not a dad, but like that old enough person that they can talk to, but like they know that they're old enough. You know, it's again the cool uncle thing. Where like they were talking about like the parents having issues, and they're probably going to be divorced and stuff like that. And those are like the small discussions that really make the game. Now apparently there's more to the game, and I'm looking forward to like playing more. But that is really what changed the game from being like at the beginning I was like. And it's at the beginning, it was like really hard to like not have like the story just like hit you at the start, being like, hey, you need to like kill this person or do that. That's kind of like the payoff is that you spend the time kind of like staying with the characters, and you see all of these what can be like quote unquote useless things like them go to the bathroom or I don't know, watching birds and stuff like that. But that is all a build up where you almost like become friends with them in a way, and you kind of like start to hear them talking to each other, and that is the part that I like. Now, I also want to mention, like, I know nothing about camping, so like I also like felt like this is almost like a simulator for camping, and I always like have people look funny at me when I tell them that I never really went camping. I'm a city boy and don't like mosquitoes and stuff like that. So like I always get those weird looks, and I know Jordan in here is like was a Boy Scout, so it's like absolute reverse. So I'm kind of curious of like if this really captured anything from like that vacation experience, right? Because I know nothing about it, and that made it cool for me. But at the same time, I guess maybe I see it differently. If I see an old man, I'm just avoiding him in the woods. I'm not. So I was actually worried that this might be like a horror game, but so far it's not.
You were like,
so,
what
anyway,
are you recommending, Michael? Jordan, what about that? How accurate would you say this game is in terms of teaching you about camping?
Camping vacation.
Camping vacation.
Well, yeah. And I'm an Eagle Scout. I was a Boy Scout for 7 years. I would say it's less like Boy Scouts camping and more like a family trip. But I will say to Mike's point of being in a bubble and feeling different, whenever you go on those trips, and even with the Boy Scouts, you do feel different. You do feel like your conversations mean so much more, and like at home you're like, no, I want to play these video games because we're all huge video game nerds, or I want to do this or that or X, Y, or Z. But like just having the time to talk or walk around feels so much better. It hits it, that hit differently,
Exactly.
Definitely, I've definitely had experiences like that. Oh man, I feel like I lost my train of thought, kind of. But you get the gist.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that idea, because I think we all have those, where there's those moments. It might not immediately come to you, but like in some moments you're going to reflect on those times of life where you felt like that sense of magical realism, I think, there, where you felt like you were almost a different character than you are, especially at that youthful age where you're still figuring yourself out. You're trying to maybe test out different personalities to see who you are and who you might become. And so I think that game captured it so well. We have a couple comments here. Glowbones, shout out Glowbones. Glowbones
MVP.
Glowbones MVP for sure. Glowbones in the game. I guess I won't spoil it. You can check out Glowbones. Also, we got, hey, Danny Robinson, greetings. Thanks, man. Appreciate you being in here. Brittany saying, big agree, not talking to any old people in the woods. Okay, I'd ask if they need help from a distance. Yes, absolutely. I got to do a quick defense, though, guys, because I'm hearing a lot of folks talking about the pacing and the slowness and wanting to speed things up. I got to say, as somebody who, if you guys remember when I played Wheels of Aurelia, I held the gas the entire time. All these types of traditional walking simulator visual novels, I'm always trying to kind of get to these interactive decision points. This game hit me so hard, though, with its charm, and like every scene felt so impactful to me. I'm trying to analyze myself, because I know I've said a lot of things about like games, you know, I like things that are more interactive, to Layla, to your point. But this one felt like a nice, comfortable area where, like, instead of watching a movie, I get a limited amount of interaction. And again, for those who are watching in the audience, the interaction is very minimal. In fact, you're not even choosing any of the dialogue. It's more so who you're talking to. And for the most part, it's going to be a very linear experience. But Jordan, when you said that last final scene where you got to choose to hand the stick to different people and close the game out based on those relationships you developed, it felt really, really impactful to me.
It felt earned.
Yeah.
It definitely did.
I'll agree. Like, I did feel that, because I am a feeler, and I think that I mentioned that last episode I was in, is that when I play things, I am looking for more of the emotional part and trying to relate to the characters and really feel what the message is in the game. So I did enjoy, actually, when I got to the end.
Yeah.
And wasn't so much like a Girl Scout or anything like that, but every weekend when I was younger, my grandma and my grandpa would take me and my cousins and my sister to go camping and fishing. So we would always, every weekend, we'd go on base and go to the park and fish and camp every weekend. So I think I wasn't able to separate my gaming style with the camping experience. And I think, like, as I'm playing, I kind of like start to get into the story, but I don't think I was able to separate that.
I feel you.
In the beginning of playing the game. So
I
now that
wanna
you're gonna talk more, it's starting to like.
I want to second that. Sorry.
No.
My play style is very similar to you. Like I like games that would tell me a story by actually using the mechanics to get the experience. And there would be an example of one of the games for later here. And I think that is almost like what I struggle with, is like trying to, not the slow walking, but it's almost like while it's awesome, it's also the text itself and how it was delivered is what I felt like there's no interaction. Like sometimes I felt like I'm just the cameraman in this, and I'm kind of like watching, especially in the fire scene, which is really cool because where I was like spinning around, but that's when it also like felt like it's not like an interaction also, because I felt like I'm just like more like I'm just reading and they are like feeding me all of this text, and that's the part where like I mean, again, I like I said, like I love like the humor. I love we didn't mention like the teenagers making fun of you. Like there is so much cool stuff in here, but it's just not my play style when it comes to how I want like my.
It's funny to hear you say that though, because I feel like we especially Amar and Layla, we've kind of flipped talking points from the last time we were talking. I was definitely the one who was like, I need more interaction here. I wonder if part of this, though, is our reaction to these games is just maybe the specific theme or the expectations ahead of time. I guess that's a good question for everybody I'd be curious about, because it sounds like part of it was we didn't know what we were going into, right? We all played it blind. Did anybody really watch the trailer ahead of time or read much about it? I wonder how much
No idea.
that changes it. Like, I think about that often these days. Like, I kind of miss when I was younger, when I discovered something, like a friend would be like, you should watch this movie or you should play this game. And you went into it completely blind. You didn't hear any hype about it. And you were just like, whoa, that blew me away. Partly because there was no hype buildup. But it sounds like the reaction is a little different here. I guess it could go either way. Did you guys feel, Jessica, let's start with you on that. Like, did you feel like not knowing the experience like helped or hindered in that way?
It, I don't know. At first, it like y'all were saying in the car, it wasn't that interesting. But once we got out, there was definitely more character development, and it got a lot more interesting. And maybe I think it's probably better I didn't watch the trailer because I'm one of those people that sometimes judges things by the cover of like the art style, and it was a little not my. We're gonna say it's not my cup of tea for the art, but it wasn't too bad. So I wouldn't have probably normally jumped into it, but the story and the character development was keeping me like definitely very engaged and interested with what was going on. So
Yeah.
I'm probably glad I didn't watch the trailer first.
Gotcha.
That's me.
Yeah, how about you all? How do you think it would have changed your experience to kind of know more about it ahead of time? Like Layla, like if you knew that there was less interaction, do you think part of it was that you felt like you were waiting for something to happen, and so there was like a buildup of kind of disappointment about your personal interaction?
Yeah, I definitely feel like that. I probably should have watched the trailer first. That way, I would know what to expect, and I would have played it anyway. You know, because being a part of these shows and the game club has been good for me to get out of my comfort zone. But definitely, if I would have read it or watched the trailer first, I would have known what I was walking into. And even in my clips, I even mentioned, I'm like, maybe it's the way I'm reading it. Like, maybe it's because I'm reading the dialogue that I'm not getting the full effect out of it. So I think that had a factor in it too.
Yeah.
As well.
Jordan and Amar, any other thoughts about this?
I mean, I didn't watch the trailer.
Yeah.
I guess my final thought, like, I just love the fact that it's like there's no quote unquote main character, right? Like we all had a favorite character in here.
Yeah.
We already started discussing like who do we see ourselves as, and so
Sure.
on. I know that we discussed the parenting of these kids and stuff like that, but I also like the fact that it's like, no one is perfect kind of mentality to it. And it's like, okay, those are just simple people with like, their own issues.
Yeah.
And, they drink. So I just love that, it's kind of like the slice of life.
Yeah.
It's almost, and like I said, like I never went camping, and that's why I was asking, like, I know it's not to this extent, but like, does this like touch, does this give anyone like some nostalgia about like sometimes where like they
Yeah.
went camping? And funny enough, there was a beach, which is, I don't know, I thought they were in the mountains and then they would go into the beach, but that just, I assumed Asheville for.
North Carolina. I mean, North Carolina has similar terrain.
Yeah, for sure.
It's with the beach as
Yeah.
well. Like, because I'm the same. I've never been camping, and I'm from a beach area, so it's like everyone used to tease me growing up. Oh, you've never been camping? I'm like, no one's ever taken me, and we live at a beach. Where am I gonna go? To the beach? They're closed at night. I think I said that during my stream earlier today, actually.
Yeah, I actually
But
camped somewhere
I
similar.
like by the beach. It was very nice.
I've
There.
camped somewhere similar.
There's a place, isn't it, Jordan, you might know about this, where they filmed Forrest Gump, like part of like the Vietnam War scenes. I think it was in either coastal North Carolina or South Carolina, and it has like there's a big campground.
Yeah, I have heard that. Yep.
Yeah.
I did not go to that campground, but yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah, it has a very similar vibe there. Well, we're probably going to have to move on to the next game. I'm going to read a couple more thoughts here. Darth Saboba on Twitch says, never been big on trailers or reviews. It usually creates a bias of some sort. Yeah, I think that's worth discussing. That should be a topic for a whole show, I think. Brittany says on Facebook, I'm going to sneak out. Got to go take care of some stuff. I'm glad you caught this, though. You guys are amazing. You are amazing, too. Thank you so much for stopping by. Make sure to check out Spokey's streams on Facebook. She's going to be a guest next week, I believe. So I'm super excited for a special Cats versus Dogs episode. of Indie Game Club. You're gonna have to catch that. Last couple thoughts I want to say about this game, real quick, that I wanted to just get to. I love the way that the dialogue was delivered in short bursts. When I was playing it on my stream, I feel like if it would have been delivered like in a long paragraph, it wouldn't have hit the same way. It reminds me kind of like comic book delivery, where it's in short like pieces, and you get like fully formed like thoughts out with each line. So it very felt really great with that. I love
sound effects.
Sound effects, awesome.
The sound effects while they were talking, like it was really hit.
Absolutely. I love the jump cuts. I feel like games need to use that more. The last game I remember was several years ago, was a game called Virginia, which interestingly enough had a similar art style. Totally different plot line. It's a criminal story. Twin Peaks-ish, if you're interested in that. And the last thing, Amar, I just wanted to give a shout out. I always like to give like Professor Z lessons here. And I love what you said about like the mix with 2D and 3D, because back in the day, if you all remember, like mid-90s PC gaming especially, there was oftentimes a mix of 2D and 3D because you couldn't get like quality 3D. So Doom, things on the build engine like Duke Nukem or Shadow Warrior.
Resident Evil.
Did Resident Evil use some sprites as well for 2D? Yeah, you're right. The backgrounds were completely 2D. You're totally right about that. So it's interesting to see in this case. I loved the sprites because and shout out to Void Bastards, a game that recently did that as well. So that's a really cool style of look that I think is coming back with a lot of this nostalgia. So let's go to our next game. I think we're going to switch it up here and go to check out Super Hexagon. So we are going to play this trailer right now.
Begin.
So that was Super Hexagon from designer Terry Kavanagh. If you're not familiar with Terry Kavanagh's work, definitely check that out for sure. He is the designer of VVV, also Dicey Dungeon, right? So he's got quite a few games to definitely check out. So, panel, this game right here, Super Hexagon.
This game is toxic.
Let's hear it, Layla. What are your thoughts?
This game is toxic. Toxic. Oh my gosh. So I feel like do not play this game if you have epilepsy. Also, if you are trying to focus on this, I could not focus. Like, one, I already have ADHD, so let's like throw that out there. And so as everything's moving around, you're trying to like move the arrow to like exit out of this pattern.
Yeah, can you describe a bit? Can you elaborate on that just so the audience kind of knows? Because people watching this might not have any idea what's going on. So
okay,
yeah,
all right. So as in the trailer, you can see that there's just this spinning hexagon and like different little, I don't know if you guys can see, but there's little patterns, and there's a tiny little triangle in the middle of there, and you're having to move this triangle to be able to hit out, like follow this pathway out as it spins. And it's really hard to explain because the first 5 times that I was doing it, I didn't even see the triangle. So it's yeah, I don't know if you guys can tell, but there's openings in the hexagon where you have to move the triangle to get out. And the one thing I did like about this, because I played this the most, like I had the most fun playing this one. I don't if you can I don't know how to explain it. If you get out and use the pattern, you can finally see that if you're following one path, like
Mm-hmm.
in the triangles, that's your best way to like be able to look down the sights and see how to get out of it. But the one thing I did like is that you don't have to do another loading screen or anything to start up again. You can literally spam start over and over again until you're able to.
And you will die a lot in this game. Let's just be clear about that to those playing. You will die a lot. Maybe you'll die more than you will ever have died in games before. So don't feel bad if you do. I think
Like
somebody... Yeah, like Fall Guys, for sure. I think somebody, when I was playing it on Monday, said it kind of reminded them of a bullet hell. Maybe, Amar, that might have been you. I forgot who said that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, like with bullet hell, like I mean, it wasn't me. I'm not taking that credit, but I can totally see that. Because in bullet hell, like the main objective is dodging.
Yeah.
And you more than it is like, you know, playing anything else. So you just try to focus on like this really tiny piece of the whole game, and you try to kind of like keep it alive. And also with bullet hells, which that's an amazing analogy. With bullet hells as well, the games usually look way more scary for someone who is like viewing from the side than it is for someone who is actually playing. It is a hard game, not taking away that from it, but like you have control of like a super precise like small thing on the screen. So I can totally see the bullet hell comparison. Also want to add, like, it's also, I would say bullet hell and also like a, not a speed runner, what do you call the like an endless runner.
Oh.
And like endless runner,
yeah.
you know, like a kind of like the Chrome one, the dinosaur and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
but instead of running forward, you end up like just spinning around this like middle circle area. So
Yeah.
really cool game.
And we should definitely throw in that it's, I guess, primarily a rhythm game in that regard, as well as we're comparing it to different genres. Darth Saboba on Twitch is saying, I don't know if I'll ever be that good. I don't know if any of us will ever be that good. And you said it's a great test of how to deal with frustration. Absolutely. Oh, okay. All right. Clearly, Jessica and Layla do not agree with me. So let's hear that. Do you feel like this game could cause you to, you know, be zen-like with your patience at some point?
It caused me to rage.
Absolutely not. I raged the whole freaking time. At one point,
Freaking out.
I was so frustrated. I stopped talking. Like, I was just like, I was grunting from there on, just like, nope. It was horrible. Like, I had fun though. Like, honestly.
Uh-oh, Layla.
Layla lagging for a second.
We lost you there for the last part, Layla.
But this was the most fun for me to play. But because it's more my style. Like, I'm having to think fast. I'm having to move fast. I'm having to, like, operate in a way where I cannot make any errors. Like, so it was, I had the most fun playing it.
Yeah. Jordan, how about you? What are your thoughts about this game overall?
So I've been calmer and quiet and still this whole time compared to my cohorts, but I also did not have a good time. Amar, you were with me. Amar was on Discord with me because we were just playing StarCraft or something earlier. When I checked it out, Amar did not play any more than that. This game was, I played for like 5 minutes or 15 minutes at most. I mean, I played a lot of DDR when I was young, but that's like a whole song, and like there's the like working out aspect and like the memorization aspect, which sure you could kind of memorize in this game, but like they already said, within the first minute, I'm like, what the heck? Like, I can't last 10 seconds. What's the farthest you guys even got? Like, I think I did it for like 26. What's up?
All right, I was gonna say, you lasted a minute.
No, I lasted like 26 seconds. Like, that's the
I can't wait for somebody to take these videos and clip them in different contexts, by the way. But okay.
Oh, yeah. I only lasted 26 seconds. What did I say, man? I can't.
I'll have you all know, I lasted I just went right over 58 seconds.
Oh, hell yeah. Over double me. Yeah, I see the draw, but I was playing on what I think is the easiest difficulty. And
I was
like,
too, yeah.
So yeah,
okay, I'm getting my butt kicked, a little too hard.
Yeah, I think the difficulty was like hexagon, hexagoner, hexagonist, and it kept on kind of going from there. It was definitely a lot going on. Now, one thing about what you said there, Jordan, I found that was interesting. So I hadn't played this game much since its initial release. We should say it was originally released in 2012. It's definitely been years since I played it. And one of the things that I thought was interesting is that it's one of those games that the more you play, it's easy to get frustrated because you're going to die your first second or two. It's just going to happen to whoever's playing this, unless you're, a superstar. But the more you play it, I felt like I was getting into a rhythm. I was getting into a zone that eventually I was kind of seeing the patterns a little bit. You know what I mean? To where I could I feel like this does reward repeated playthroughs. Do you think? I don't know if that's going to convince you to give it a second chance, but I think if you played it a bit more, you could eventually kind of.
Well, it's not like I got to 26 seconds in the first few tries. I tried it once, I tried plenty of times.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I guess with like DDR, I could go to like baby mode, beginner, or like light mode. With this, it felt like the easiest was still very difficult. I think that's what was frustrating for me. But I was getting the hang of it a little bit. I made it to 26 seconds, because it said there was something like make it to next level at 20 seconds. I was like, I don't know what next level means, but I gotta. And it wasn't really, it was just different shapes. That's all the next level, you know what I mean? Or different rhythm, different music, different shapes, which is cool. But I was like, I gotta at least try to surpass that. And I made it even more. I mean, 6 seconds past that, but still, it was hard. It was rough.
Yeah, Darth Sabalba, who's in the chat, who's been playing these games as well, said, I did best when I started to Zen, but that took quite a bit of playing, and he said 42 seconds is where he got.
So I want to put something in here. Like, I actually heard that bullet hell games are super Zen for a lot of people who play those games. And like, if we are trying to draw the comparison, and don't get me wrong, I did not feel anything. I don't know what the inverse of Zen, anti-Zen or something like that. But that's I did not feel anything like that. I still didn't put in a lot of time. But I can see that from those kind of games, because you are kind of like, every time you die, you can start like super fast. So yeah, I mean, while we are saying here that we played the game for like an amount of time, you can pop this game, and I think it's also mobile too. Like, you can pop this game and just play and just as many times, and then just like quit and leave it. I feel like this is like one of those games that I can have while waiting for my maybe like Call of Duty queue to like fill up or something. I can play probably like, I don't know, given how bad I am, I can probably play like 3 matches before starting. But again, I haven't really played much. I have different complaints than what everyone has, I guess. Just because like visually it really threw me off. But I think maybe I'll get used to that. I don't know, maybe
Can we go?
My eyes are getting old or something.
Can we break down the visuals? Because for those watching right now, you'll notice a couple key things. Not only is the game constantly rotating, but that it'll change its rotation, as well as the shapes that come at you. And then based on the rhythm of the music itself, it also kind of changed some of its patterns. So there's a lot going on here. A lot that you can't even like consciously like. You have to leave the game and like think about it or watch it in a situation like this. How did you all have like a strategy in mind, or what was the approach you all took to try to get your seconds, your time up?
I was looking at, how they have the off shaded layouts of the ones that spin. I tried to follow it down until I saw a blockade situation. And I guess that helped me to see like when I needed to move or where I needed to move as I looked down the sights of that pattern. The only time that messed up for me was when it started to rotate a different way. And I was like, wait, my eyes are thrown off. I don't know what to do. And then they had like this part where you have to go through and it's like, I don't know how to explain it because I can't.
Like when you were like rotating a lot, like really quickly.
Yeah, and then there were like these blockades where you had to
I think like right
all
there.
the way around. Yeah, and I was like, "What is that?"
Yeah.
And every time something would change, it's like, "What the heck is this?" They're moving stuff around. So yeah.
So that begs another question, and it's prompted by Sabalba also on Twitch saying, I'm playing on iPad. Most of my mistakes were second guessing myself. This game, you have to be very precise. And I remember I played it primarily using an Xbox One controller, but I remember the first time I played this, I used keyboard. What was your preferred control method, or did you guys switch it up, try different styles? Who used the controller?
The first time I played, I used the keyboard, but
Mhm.
halfway through of me dying constantly, I switched to the controller. And today, when I gave it another try, I also used the controller.
And what did
again.
you prefer between the two?
Probably the controller
Mhm.
because it was a little easier. Because using the arrows and it constantly changing which way it's going was like Layla said, totally throwing me off. Honestly, for me, with the visuals, also the colors, they were constantly changing, flashing. That's fine, but for me, it's all the same color each time, just different hues and like brightnesses of it. To
Yeah.
where the arrow's so small and the blocks and the arrow are the exact same color, and it's really hard to tell everything apart. I wish those
Yeah.
were different colors, and the arrow
Yeah.
may be like just easier to see. Um,
I feel you on that.
Yeah,
that was my
the color
biggest
of your arrow
problem.
is the
It's a lot
same.
of fun, and I definitely enjoyed it, but it was so kicking my butt, and I was getting nowhere in it. But it's something I would probably try again in the future because I do like rhythm games.
Yeah.
I'm more of like a Step Mania DDR, like.
Pump It Up. Anybody remember that one? I love Pump It Up.
Don't think it's
No, no one
Default
remembers Pump It
dodge.
Up.
Yeah. It's
Well,
the,
yeah, sure. The diagonal
angles.
DDR. I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
critical of it. Oh boy, here we go. That'll be
I'm
another-
critical of it. That's no. I've heard about the like elitist community of how like it's so much better than DDR. It's so much harder with that center button. So I know all about that, but I don't know. I only play DDR.
The North American champion for a while was the Charlatan. He used to run. He used to be
Oh.
one of the people who was, I think, the manager at GameStop over at Eastland Mall. Shout out to my folks who remember Eastland Mall back here. That's specifically a Charlotte reference.
Yeah.
Speaking of the other part of the controls, Amar, I think when I was playing it, I believe you were the one who made the comment that you'd like to see this with like a dial, like an old school arcade dial.
Yes.
I would love to
Yes.
see. In fact, I think I might want to work on an arcade version of this.
No, totally. No,
Yeah.
totally. And
Okay.
You guys see what I'm
Sorry,
talking
go
about?
ahead. I'm processing it. I like that idea a lot. Go ahead. Sorry.
so my thing is when I saw the game, I was like, okay, the controls, like, and I was already going with like the dial idea. And of course, I struggle with both like regular controller and left and right, and that's because you just can move only right to left, and sometimes you press right too much and you die. What I would have loved for this game to be is, like you said, like almost like the arcade dial, which you guys
Yeah.
probably saw, almost like a volume one.
Yeah.
And instead of having, and then being able to have like almost like a direction up, so you almost become like almost like a DJ like spinning thing, where like
Yeah.
the actual triangle would be where it is like in the actual circle. But
Yeah.
another problem is that the triangle itself, I think, moves on its own.
Yeah.
Like the whole screen just in the game just moves. I mean, I actually looked up like arcade dials and stuff like that, and then I started seeing that they actually control the mouse. But like if I ever end up getting one, I would love to like try it with this game and kind of see like how that would change the experience, because I felt like
yeah.
the biggest disconnect for me is that movement. So we'll see how that goes.
And that's one of the
I wanna play
challenge
with that.
is with the keyboard kind of approach, even with any of the controller approaches, it's kind of
Yeah.
like, I guess, analogous to tank controls, so to speak, in the sense that the controls are based, the perspective doesn't modify the controls, right? So left is left, right is right, regardless of how the triangle is shifting. So that's probably the biggest thing to try to get used to while you're playing this game. Layla, I guess when I think of you now in these streams, I kind of can't help but think like a certain level of rage. I don't know if I'm pigeonholing you a bit here, but I always think of your stream with quite a bit of rage. How does this rate on the Layla rage scale? What's your rage meter for this one? How mad did this make you?
I think probably like a 7. Probably a 7. I think I raged more playing Night of the Consumers because it was so relatable. But this was very rage worthy. I immediately started over and I was like, it's 3:40 in the morning and this is the point where I start raging. And I was like, it only played a couple of levels from there. But I kind of want to go back to what Darth was saying, because at first I was like, absolutely not. There's no zen in this at all. But then I started to think that I did start to get quiet because I wanted to focus so much more so I could really see what I was doing, because you cannot make errors. Like they change the patterns. There's no like way you can memorize how it goes because it switches it up every single level. So I do get that at one point I was I like tried to like really concentrate and calm down and stop raging as much, so I would stop dying.
Yeah.
So I can see that aspect too. And I started with the controller. I started with the Xbox One controller, and then I kept dying. And I guess because the analog stick for me was too sensitive, so I moved to the keyboard to try to
Same.
like control a little bit of that instead.
Yeah.
So I went from controller to keyboard.
Yeah, Jordan, you said the same as well. The sensitivity was
Same.
what did it for you.
Yeah, Amar recommended controller, and nothing against Amar, but I would go too far and then wiggle back, or I didn't go too far and then I'd wiggle back and kill myself. So I like the keyboard and mouse a little bit better, but
Yeah,
I think I'm gonna
absolutely.
play it anyway.
Any last thoughts
wanna
on this,
mention-
folks? Go for it, Amar.
Yeah, I want to mention. So I actually ended up looking up more about this game, including tutorials on how to build this game. That's the game developer in me.
I love it.
Yeah, 'cause I want it to be a game with a dollar, right? I want it to be.
Yeah.
I want to add an easy mode, I guess. That's for
Right.
people like me. But yeah, I think that it's the core of it is like super enjoyable, and I felt like it was almost too punishing. But I also want to say that I looked up. There's actually it's a spoiler, I guess, but the game changes after you pass 1 minute, and there's an end to the game. It's not a unlimited run game, so if you want to spoil yourself, you can watch it on YouTube. But it's not anything fancy, but it's just
I
the
got
game
to
just ends.
58 seconds.
So, yeah,
Yeah,
so you were
right there.
close, Michael. Now
Yeah.
I was actually I was hoping that someone would be like from this group would be the one who would like explain.
I wanted
Because
to play
there's
it
like a
more.
different mode. Yeah,
I
so
really
there's
wanted
like
to
a
play
different
more.
mode too.
Yeah, yeah.
But anyway, I just wanted to mention that. So
Yeah, no, appreciate that. And actually, Darth Saboba actually messaged me before we did this talk to let me know about that at a minute things changed. So I'm very curious. Like this game, actually, when I streamed on Monday, I started with this game, and I was planning on only playing it for a short amount of time because, with 4 games, we have a lot, especially since the other games are way longer than this. And then I kept on like pushing myself. The same thing with Night of the Consumers, and then I ended up at the end of the night having to return to this. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. I'm gonna get past that minute mark. I gotta last longer.
and you can explain to me what happens afterward because I don't think I'll get there anytime soon.
I might do that this weekend. We'll have to see. Any last thoughts on this, folks, before we move on to our next game?
Wish there was a sensitivity like setting to where you could change it, because that's why I jumped between the keyboard and controller multiple times, because both felt like overly sensitive. So I just in the end chose my poison because I couldn't figure out, it kept spinning so much I couldn't tell what was left and what was right anymore. But like how many playthroughs I did.
Yeah. And I meant to say this. Oh, hey, Savvy Avi, thanks for following. Really appreciate it. I meant to do this for Wide Ocean Big Jacket, but just at the end of each one of these games we talk about, just wanted to hear generally if you recommend it or not. So let's go back to Wide Ocean Big Jacket real quick. Overall recommend? For me, it's total recommend. Thumbs all the way. I'm seeing some middle
sure.
thumbs.
I'm
Sure,
like,
sure.
Yeah.
I haven't finished it, so we'll see.
Oh yeah.
I'm putting these out. I'm telling you, folks, trust your boy here. Play it.
Yeah, I give it a thumb. It's cute. It's
It's cute.
It's cute.
it's fun for how short it is.
What about Super Hexagon? Where do we put this? I'm loving this too. All
Yeah,
positivity there.
Actually-
it's something I would play again.
You will find out whether it's a good it's your kind of game or not within the first 5 seconds. So
Yeah,
definitely.
That's what I'm saying.
love. Like,
That's
the
what I'm
time
gonna give it a
investment
thumb
is-
anyway, because it's an arcade style, like he said. If you die a few times, you don't like it, you don't like it, move on. But if
Yeah.
you do like it, then you're happy you got this thumb.
Yeah. Awesome. So the next game we are going to move on to is called Art School by Glander Co., which I have trouble thinking you're not going to dance to this music here. So let's check out Art
Yeah.
School from Glander Co.
video game coming soon to Mac and PC.
So that was Art School from Zytkow. I almost have to have the music on just for a little. Anybody else feeling this music as much as me? Or I don't know what to define this, like this vaporwave kind of, I don't know what to describe it, but I'm really feeling it.
Best intros
Okay.
ever when it
My
comes to
favorite
music.
parts of the game. Yeah, my favorite parts of the game.
The music, very good for sure. Hey, Mystic Tightness, thank you for hosting. Really appreciate it. As well as Athena Alliance CLT. We love you both. Thank you so much. For those watching on Twitch, make sure to follow them. What do we got here? Already we got someone in the chat. Hey, Mercenary Vargas, how are you, man? He's saying, this is looking like an Adult Swim kind of show/game. Urios is saying, no, not feeling. Oh, Urios, quite the contrarian. We're going to have to talk about this. And yeah, hot takes. I'm loving the hot takes. Here we go. Darts of Bubble. Oh, I guess we got our Streamlabs bot maybe over policing here, so we'll have to check out on some of this stuff. We're still getting used to this bot policing stuff. All right, so we got Art School from Zytkow. So this game, folks, if we can describe it real quick, I'll read a quick. I'll read something. I don't know. This is a pretty wild game. It says, you are a freshman at Art School. Your assignments are generated and graded by an AI. Can a video game make you more creative? Can a video game make you a better artist? Can you graduate from Art School? I don't know. That's on you. So that's the description you have here. Yeah, what are we dealing with, folks, here? How would you describe this game? This is a tough one. There's not many games to compare it to. Anyone want to take a crack at describing this game to our audience here?
If I could try.
Yeah, let's hear it.
I played a good bit of this one, actually. I think the first day I played these games, I played this one for like 2 hours. This is the first one I played the most of. I was actually enjoying it. I suck at drawing and art, but I am definitely better if I'm holding like a pen or pencil type thing, and I had to use my mouse, so it was very hard. Yeah. And the art style is very interesting. I actually didn't know there was trailers to any of these games, so I jumped into everything blind. I didn't read descriptions, everything. I was like, oh, just going in. I liked it. I figured out that you could travel from island to island by just infinite jumping.
Yeah.
And that took me a little bit to figure out.
Can I stop real quick and ask how many people figured that out? Did everybody get to that?
Amar, that's what I was talking about.
Because it took me a while.
Infinitely. You can basically fly.
Yeah.
It took me a little bit to figure that out.
No, I had no idea about flying.
Infinitely. You can jump infinitely.
Yeah,
Okay,
Jessica,
I had no idea.
sorry to interrupt there. I was just curious how many people got that.
You're fine. Yeah, because I think I was trying to tell Layla earlier about it this morning, and yeah, we were talking about that, and I don't think she had figured it out just yet.
Nope.
But yeah, I found out the hard way because I went to fall. I was like, well, I wonder what happens if I die. So I went and I jumped off the
I
cliff.
did that.
Yeah, and then the next time I decided to do it because I was like, I wonder how far I could jump or how many jumps I get. And then I realized I had infinity jumps, and if I just keep mashing it, I fly really high in the air.
Yeah.
My problem is if you don't, unless I missed it, I can't control the camera. So that was kind of annoying, but doable. I've played worse games with the camera angles. I mean, like we all remember old Resident Evil and stuff. The art, I was still trying to find all the items, but I thought it was really cool that I had to go find my brushes, the eraser, the different paint swatch colors. That was awesome. And it seemed like the harder I tried to make a nice picture, the worse my grade was. But if I just it was like draw the perfect worm. Like here's the background, some grass, here's the squiggly lines, paint. Put some darker lines through it like the worm would have for like texture, and I failed. It told me to redo it, so I redid that today, and I just put a background color and a big fat S, and I turned it in and I got an A. I was like,
yeah, let's talk about that because there's a lot to unpack with this AI grading system. Quick shout out to Mystic Tightness. Thanks so much for those bits. Really appreciate it. Again, if you are not following Mystic Tightness on Twitch, make sure to do so right now. I don't know what you're doing. You got to do it right now. Appreciate that very much, Mystic Tightness. Can we talk about that? Because I guess I don't know if I want to do necessarily a spoiler here or not, but the AI grading is completely random. There is no actual grading at all. So just if for those who are watching right now, you see that you have these 50 challenges. They could be like draw something using your non-dominant hand, right? Or draw something, I think, like from the grocery store on top of something from the furniture store. And then once you're done with these assignments, and I think it's interesting that you can submit an assignment either by walking through a door or jumping off the edge of the cliff, which I think there's some art school things to be discussed there. And then the professor gives you a grade which is completely random from A to F, but not knowing that ahead of time, you're just like, oh my God, you know, like, why, how the hell did I get an A on this and an F on this? You know what I mean? Any thoughts about the grading system? How many of you all thought that it was BS to begin with? I see the Athena Alliance is saying it has the art school grading BS on point. Microsoft Paint the game. Mercenary Vargas is saying, how do you describe this game? Corrupted audio. And then RF20XX CLT, who was I guess last week, said, oh, I was about to say something about how maybe simplicity is magic, and now it's all ruined. Thoughts? What do you guys think about the grading system? Is this giving us a deeper message about art in our society and how we consume it?
Can I jump on this?
Please, it's all you.
Like, yeah, I actually like this game a lot, funny enough, because I think maybe before yesterday I told Jordan that I played it, and I was like, man, I just don't care for this. I don't know. It's, you know, it's long, and I was like halfway through it, funny enough. Then I played it again while watching the NBA, and I think that experience of just like, and it kind of actually made me question how I play video games, but I'll get into that another day. But like, being able to just like sit down and be like, okay, you know what, I'm actually gonna draw, and let me actually, like, you know, try to draw some of these, and having like the different subjects was like cool to just like get that. I didn't go to art school, and the closest that I got to becoming creative was like in my writing classes, when I would like spend a lot of time and, you know, go extra and, you know, try to kind of like, I don't know, like have some rhythm to my words, and, you know, and as a child think that I am becoming like, you know, I'm getting into like some territory that's like super artistic. And then I would submit homework, and then the teacher would be like, man, here's a C, you know, whatever. So that kind of gave me that feeling of like, it doesn't matter how hard you're working on it, you know, like you will end up submitting your homework and then be like, yeah, it's whatever. And I also want to add, toward the end, I did exactly what I did in my school, which is doing the bare minimum to pass. And and I ended up just like scribbling something and just being like submitting it, and then the teacher would tell me like, oh, this is not enough. The professor would tell me it's not enough, and then I would just add more colors and be like, okay, I just want to be done. And that kind of, funny enough, that kind of like almost like brought me the symptom of like being a college student. Like, despite being in this fancy area and everything, I'm still submitting my homework, and the teacher just grades it however they want.
And shout out to the old college try
as well.
Yeah, for sure. Mystic is saying on Twitch, she's saying, I suck at painting and I would get an A, but when I draw pen and pencil, I would get a C. What was y'all's experience? Can you also describe maybe some of the assignments that you enjoy doing? There's 50 kind of wild assignments. What were the ones that kind of stood out to you all? And which one stood out to you all? And how did you go about using the tools that you had access to?
I like the one where it's like, do this with your non-dominant hand, and it told me to draw a perfect circle. And earlier, in another thing, I was actually trying to draw a perfect circle for like face, because I ended up going from trying to make pictures to stick figures. This was like, screw it. But obviously the teacher hates me. But oh man, wow, I just really had a brain fart.
It's all good. We can come back to you. No, absolutely.
Yeah, I totally like brain fart because the teacher comment, but come back to me.
Yeah, for sure. Layla, Jordan, any thoughts about specific assignments that you enjoyed, or any deeper reading into this? Like, should we be reading deeper? There's actually quite a few articles written about this game, I should say. Like, what does it represent? Is it critical of the art industry? Like, that no matter what you do, you know, the grades are arbitrary. What is art? The kind of suicide component, I guess, about jumping off and you're still getting a grade. I don't know what to call it. I guess suicide is the fairest, even though you don't fully die. What do you all think about these kind of layers to art school?
So I'll just go ahead and start with, I immediately was not having fun.
Me too.
I knew right away. I was like, how can this judge my art? This is BS. And also, I think maybe were the assignments random too, because I feel like I got some weird ones early that I was like, you can't even. I know game coding too. You can't judge me on that.
Can you tell us?
Submit. Well, I remember a couple of them. One of them was draw the right thing. What? One of them was draw nothing.
Yeah.
And if you turn in nothing, he's like, you need to add more to this.
Yeah, exactly.
So even though I wasn't having fun, well, I started having fun once I realized I could jump infinitely, because I was like, let me go explore, let me find all the pens. And so I had fun for half it. But I'll say, this game I have the most thoughts on and the most like notes written down because of what you just said. And
keep it going. I want to hear them.
Yeah. Not necessarily the art industry as a whole, but like art school and arts degrees. I have my older brother and I have lots of friends, or a decent amount of friends, that tried to be artists, whatever, you know, that big famous one in Savannah, not naming any names. And I've heard so many negative things about the experience. Well, that specific one, you don't even get a degree apparently, so it's about making contacts. But that's a whole nother discussion. I'm not going to call anybody out or any organization.
Are we talking about the Savannah School of Art and Design?
What are you talking about? Anyway,
I was there recently. I enjoyed that, my friend.
Good. Yeah, I've seen their booths set up. They seem nice.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say. But no, it's like, how do you grade someone in an arbitrary way, especially as an AI, in something that is subjective and something that isn't arbitrary? And so they even gave you prompts to make it deeper, like draw the right thing. There is no right thing. So it just, even not being an art student, it reminds me of some of my experiences. Sometimes a professor asks a question and there can be multiple answers, and that's how life is sometimes. Unless totally it's math or something specific, there can be multiple answers. So it becomes, guess what's on my brain? And like, that's not fair. That's not how you learn and improve. Oh, my younger brother even too, different kind of art, writing. My younger brother dropped out and he had this whole argument about, shout out to my brother Jackson, about how actually it was stifling his creativity. They were like forcing things on him and then giving him bad grades. And it's like,
art school specifically.
Yes, but this is not, or getting an arts degree, a degree in the arts.
Yeah.
But this is not what I wanted to do. So this is making me want to do it, making me want to, it was stifling his passion, basically. So I do think a lot of the prompts, a lot of the pointlessness of it, because like Jessica even said, some of them I would draw the art and I'd get a bad grade, and then I would use my favorite one, the rainbow pen, and literally fill the whole screen with rainbow pen and get an A. Yeah. So I was like, this is pointless, and maybe that's an argument about art school being pointless too, because art is subjective, you know?
I think that's an excellent point. I totally feel you on that. And in fact, we have a couple comments. Shout out also to Legend of the Star, who was on our first episode of Indie Game Club. Thanks for hosting. Really appreciate you, Legend. Savvy Avi says it's just a bit hard to implement that, in my opinion, because it needs like the human touch. Yes, I think that's totally, Jordan, those are my feelings as well, that it's kind of, oftentimes art school feels pretentious, that I'm wondering if in the critique that this game like offers, if it is actively offering a critique, if it's missing something on certain levels or not, or if it's trying to make you realize that the grading is BS and that you should still have fun with art anyway. Because one of the cool things we should also say about this game is it saves all of your artwork in a folder. So at the end of the game, if you want to share it, it's in a little folder in the save file. Layla, I don't know if you saw that or not. It looks like,
I want to burn it.
Oh no, we should all share our artwork. I should have had us do that.
I was thinking you were gonna. I didn't delete it. That's the only of the games I didn't delete because I thought you might have done that.
All right, while we're talking, I think I'm going to dig out that file and show some of my embarrassing artwork that I had.
It would be better than mine. Yeah.
I don't know, my friend.
Well, no, because here's the thing. For most of mine, I was just trying to be done. Like, I was trying to... Honestly, it became a game for me against the professor where I was trying to test out, you know, how that AI actually works or not. Like, one time it told me to, like, draw a house, I think. And I was like, let me see if I don't draw like a house or a horse as well. So like there were some times when I actually like started like questioning whether that AI is actually real or not, or not real or not, but like, you know, whether it has like some very slight like indicators as far as like if you're trying to draw a dress for someone, then should you use like some colors and it would detect that. So I started playing this game against AI, and as a result, all of my paintings were just Scrabbles. But the fact that there were like 50 of them, at first made me like I'm glad that it's 50 because it made me go through the process of being like, okay, this is actually homework and actually going to be walking around randomly while drawing. And I actually like that as well.
Yeah.
I can deliberate on it.
It
but-
sounded like you really appreciated that part of the game. I'm actually going to launch it to find that folder real quick, so you may hear a little bit of the art school music right here on the side. But yeah, see that to that point, Amar, it seems like you actually took it seriously and tried to like kind of grow. I guess towards the end when you were giving it the old college try, but you really seem to appreciate kind of the assignments as, I guess, to build your skills, or how would you describe that?
No, it was mostly like, I think it was mostly the setting that I was in. Now, I'm not sure if everyone here played it like in one sitting or multiple. Like this is the game that I would probably enjoy playing like over like like a couple of weeks maybe, and just remember me like, you know what, I actually do want to draw today, and then I would play it when I actually want to draw. And I feel like, and maybe while watching a movie or something, having those random topics and stuff like that sounds like just cool enough for me to like want to do. While also I was running into the issue, which again, like I said, I question myself as and the way I play games, where like I always try to get to an objective. Like, we played, like Wide Ocean and Big Jacket. Like from the beginning, I'm like, okay, what is this game about, right? And I think playing this game kind of like made me question that idea again of like, okay, maybe I just need to. Maybe the idea is that I should just like walk around this really odd universe museum thing, school campus, I guess is what they call it. And I kind of enjoyed that when I forced myself to actually chill and not be like, okay, I need to just finish this, or I need to get to the end. And I think that's really the way to play it. Oh, we got some art here.
I'm flashing some art. Beautiful thing of technology. We're doing it live, folks. So I'm throwing my artwork in here. Be gentle. Be gentle.
Hopefully no penises or anything.
I made sure not to put those in here. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Take up the 6th square.
I actually enjoyed I took my time the whole time with the game and just enjoyed like walking around and trying to explore and look at all the sculptures and what's around in the levels and trying to go to the different layers of levels because some are higher, farther away, or lower. Mm-hmm. And I found I could land on like this cloud looking thing.
Yeah.
I was just having fun because I like playing like role-playing games and trying to go where you're not supposed to go to find the loot and the good stuff. So that's what I kept trying to do in the game, and I enjoyed that aspect of it a lot.
Yeah.
Sorry. I remember what I was saying earlier. I drew better with my left hand than my right, and I totally forgot that I can actually use this hand sometimes.
Nice.
Like ignore it, but
I wish I could say the same. Amar, what were you gonna say, my friend?
No, yeah, I was going to say like, I guess this is both like one of the favorite games that I played, and also one of the most hated games. And it's because I really disliked walking around because like the turning was really tough. Like some of the actual walking was a little bit too hard for my opinion. Because I actually enjoyed like walking around. It felt like almost like this, like really cool, like if you see like those Instagram museums that they have, where like people would go and take pictures in front of like the random objects and all the colors.
Sure.
That part I really liked a lot, and I actually would want to play more games where I'm just walking around like cool areas like that. It almost like kind of gives me like almost like maybe like if I play Minecraft and I join someone's server and now I'm exploring that server and trying to see kind of what they built. This is the feeling that I got from walking in this game. Now I wish I knew that I can fly, but that probably would have changed the game. But that was really for me like the coolest. I didn't end up collecting all of the items just because I struggled with moving around.
Yeah, the aesthetic I think is really unique for me. Kind of, this was definitely the nostalgia of like the 90s era where, I mean, Windows 95, I think it's just had its 25-year anniversary. And so like this made me realize all the time I spent on paint. And as you guys can see in the art I use that 3D kind of whatever I don't know what that tool is, but that was the one that fascinated me the most.
Transparency or?
I don't remember what it was called, but I love.
Is it the thick brush?
That thick brush, yeah, for sure.
That thick
Thick
fresh.
fresh, my favorite for sure.
The spelling of that made me laugh.
What?
We're clipping that one.
Thick rush. Here we go. So one thing you will also notice that for one of the answers I gave, there was a challenge. I don't know if you guys saw it, where the AI said, "Can computers die?" And so there's one where I just said yes, and it was not too happy with that answer. There you go. Yes, flashing on the screen right now. Yeah, did you guys get to any of those like weird challenges that were kind of meta that didn't really make sense?
I realized that I have way too strong of perfectionistic qualities, and I was like, I can't. I need an art pad. Why don't I have an art pad? It's like first of all,
No.
Controller now, draw with the mouse. And I was like, no, absolutely not. We'll draw with the mouse.
Yeah.
So like I had, my first challenge was it said pick a number through 1 to 50 and draw that many birds. And my chat was lighting me up so they were like, what are you drawing? It's clearly a bird, guys. This is a bird. And they're like, I don't see it. I drew like 3 birds, and I even started to like draw the little V situation. I was like, okay, these are like a flock of birds, like from a distance. It was so cool. So I had the most fun running around trying to collect the tools.
Yeah, me too. I think that also brings up a cool point about watching this, since we're streaming it. Like, it's a fun game to watch others play as well. We should say, for those watching, though, that the core game is literally these 50 assignments. You can run around the world, collect a few things, and do these assignments, but there isn't more outside of that. So just keep that in mind for those who are like me, who are kind of expecting a little bit more content-wise. For the sake of time, folks, we're going to have to move on to our next game. But how are we feeling about this one? I enjoyed it overall. I thought it was a good one.
I thought it was cute. I just would have preferred an art pad.
Yeah,
I
feel
totally agree. I was saying that my whole stream, like, I wish I had a drawing art pad and the pen for it, because I can't draw with the mouse. Otherwise, this game is really cute and fun.
Yeah.
The perfectionist in me was driving me crazy, and by the end of the day, I was like, I'm gonna draw stick figures and try not to be mad at myself.
Yeah, I totally feel you.
One thing, make sure you read. Sorry, Jordan. Make sure you read the guide, the README file, the guide, because it is actually really cute and actually explains to you some of the movement that I didn't know about. Like, you can actually switch the camera, and I didn't know the first time. I knew the jump, but I didn't know you can fly. But like, it's super cute, and even in that guide, like, spoiling that, like, he says, "Hi, Mom, it's freshman," and I'm like, my heart just melted. That guy's so cute. So
that's awesome.
Shout out to Freshman.
What my if I may, one last meta analysis with a veiled insult to art school. Did anyone finish the game and in the main menu click continue?
Yes.
No, you didn't hear it.
Here's what I noticed, and I think you guys will pick up what I'm putting down. When you finish a game and you click continue, you're just in a really basic town. Still the color palette in the background, but nothing fancy, nothing really unique, just like a basic town, just houses and whatever. None of them have doors on them.
Wow.
Jordan, I almost don't want to move to the next segment, because I feel like you have a lot more like analysis about this game.
I feel like I talked the longest already about crapping on art school, wasting your time.
I want to add one more thing, Jordan. You can actually end up going back to the college campus by falling down. So I found out that the whole city is actually living on top of the college campus, and you can go and visit the professor. When you visit the professor, you hear the sound of the professor talking, but you don't get anything. The professor completely ignores you, so you just move on. Welcome to the real life.
Other students.
Yeah, he's done. You know.
Oh, you just reminded me of another one. In between that end of the game and earlier, he said something like, here's your degree, move on, I'm sure you do fine. And it's like, what if I don't do fine? I'm sure you'll do fine. Because he doesn't care. He got his paycheck, student taught, moving on to the next student. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to go on, I'm not going to be that much of a hater, but I think this game sends several layers of messages.
So, but here, I'm curious about your reaction, though, before we move on. Like, it sounds like, okay, I know you're not feeling it the most, but are you not feeling it because of the message it's giving? It seems like it's critical in a way that is in line with your views. Is that not the case?
Well, okay. So I wasn't feeling it because, like Amar said, like I was analyzing it a little bit too much, and I wanted to just reach the end. So I kind of made myself not have as much fun. Plus, the controls were clunky at first until I could finally the infinite jumping, so that kind of threw me off. What have you? But I did like all the depth. That's the part I did like about it, and obviously, I'm saying it's implying that like no doors are open for you just because you have a degree. That's
a good point.
I like the messages. No, the deepness and the meta-ness, that's my favorite part. That was interesting. I would recommend watching it. I wish I could have watched the Mar. That would have been. I would have paid money for that. Or you seeing some of your drawings.
Yeah. This is one of my favorite things about the show, too, doing this, is to have all these different views, because we've already clearly have different kind of camps among the five of us who, this was their favorite, or Super Hexagon. Like, I love seeing the diversity of views and opinions here. But, Jordan, you had another point, please.
No, that was done. We're good.
Cool. Well,
thank you.
You're going to have to connect outside of this and discuss it more, because I definitely am curious about that for sure.
I'll send you my notes.
Yeah, please. Can you send them in art school? Can you do them like with all the different things? And send them each file by file. I really want to see that. Yeah, do the rainbow tool and we can see. And I'll give you a grade on each of your notes.
Oh, no.
So let's jump over to our last game of the night before we look at our trailers. This next game is from our friends at Farfew Giants, who, if you recall, we reviewed a couple of their games already, the Outcast Lovers as well as the Night Fisherman. This is their newest game that they're releasing on a monthly basis, and we should say we're going to be interviewing them tomorrow, so definitely check that out. This, folks, is the Imagined Leviathan.
"50 degrees below zero meant 80-odd degrees of frost. Such fact impressed him as being cold and uncomfortable, and that was all. It did not lead him to meditate upon his frailty as a creature of temperature, and upon man's frailty in general, able only to live within certain narrow limits of heat and cold. And from there on, it did not lead him to the conjectural field of immortality and man's place in the universe."
So that was a trailer or snippet, we should say, of the Imagined Leviathan from our friends over at Farfew Giants. Amar and Jordan, I'm going to start with both of you because you both were on the episode where we discussed the games, the Night Fisherman and the Outcast Lovers. Let's start with you guys in terms of your reaction. How do you guys kind of compare this to that? How does it stand kind of on its own? What are your thoughts about it overall?
Amar, I know you said you were low on time this week. Did you get to this one?
I did, but I want to actually have everyone's opinion first because I think my experience, and it's in a good way, different than everyone else. So I want you to go first, Jordan.
Okay, sure. So compared to the other, another really interesting artistic deep game, but a little bit different. The other ones the other games by the same developer was you didn't actually move around, right? It was like linear storytelling that was just dialogue and camera angles, whereas this one you move around. I bumped into an era where I had to restart while I was
me too.
Like Amar said, the gamer in me, I'm just like, I'm doing this on purpose. Let's go in a direction and get lost on purpose. And I got lost. So I had to restart. But just really interesting and deep. And I'll say the biggest difference for me, other than the controls, the scheme, is the other ones, it has like a baseline story. Like, here's a fisherman, he's meeting this dude, he's got to talk to him, threats, whatever. Here's this couple, they find this kid, they talk about what to do with him. And then beneath that veil, there's a lot of deeper implications of what is being talked about and whatever. This game was like just all deep. Like, yeah, sure, you're making fires to survive and walking in a direction and following signs or following life or I don't even know what, but it was all deep and conjecture and theories about life. It was weird. I only just played it a few hours ago. I wish I played it like a few days ago. I wish I had more time to digest it because I don't know if I got all the dialogue because you actually have to find the papers, right? And then not burn them. I found that
Yeah,
so
we
too.
should
I got
say
a
this-
lot to say about this game. I'll process it as we talk.
Yeah, and we should say this game only recently came out, and we actually didn't have it on the initial schedule, but when I heard from the developers that they were releasing it, we were doing the interview, we threw it on here. And I'll also say that Layla, I know, was not able to play this just because she filled in kind of last minute on the show, so we appreciate her doing that. So if you notice her silent for this, it's not because she's... doesn't have anything to say about this game. A little bit of background here. It says you're trapped in a British forest. It's 50 degrees below zero. Stick to the shadows, build a fire, deliver your message. You must stay warm at all costs. It also says the Imagined Leviathan is a poetic, atmospheric survival game set in a post-human Britain. Get lost in a large, surreal black and white forest, bathe in ecological musings voiced by one of the developers, collect fragments of the past world as you explore. You are not alone in the fog. It's what they're referring to. They're continuing this brand of a 10 to 20 minute coffee break sized game. Freeze to death after wandering into the white void. So there's that. Amar, I know you had some thoughts on this as well. You wanna jump in?
So like I played this one and I only played it once. I kind of like did the what Jordan like gamer thing where like I wanted to play it and I actually was going to. 1 second, I have to act this out. But like this game was super. Felt like I have to explain it like this.
Yeah.
But like the atmosphere in it,
Yeah.
it's was really cool. Now
Yeah.
I'm an African. I didn't really grow up with snowy area, so it was really cool. I look like a cat here, but it was maybe not so much.
No, keep it on. Keep it on.
You're probably gonna send me a screenshot. Okay, it's actually kind of chilly around here. Condition on and don't want to turn it off. But so like the idea of like snow being like a danger was not something that I kind of grew up with. And I remember like there was one novel, you guys are probably familiar with it. I'm not sure if it's like taught in stories, but it's called like To Build a Fire. And I kind of like got that vibe from that, where it's like it's about a guy who got stuck in the snow and he ends up, I think, maybe dying or something like that. But the idea of like snow being like really cold, like they really captured that vibe. Now, the reason why I wanted to like let Jordan go first is because I feel like I completely maybe like butchered the game and I missed it, and it was almost like which I loved it. And the reason why is because like they allowed me to make the mistake and be able to like continue, and that is that I didn't carry the lighter with me. I lit up the first fire and I saw the boat, and then I think I went up the hill. And then I looked and I was like, oh, there is something on the other side. And I just like ran. I was like, all right, let me just go there and see what's next. Ended up going there and then I got lost. And I think I ended up just like going from one spot to another. And I think my camera got foggy in a way. And I remember just seeing text. I'll let someone else explain maybe the possible horror. But I ended up just like going. And it's odd that Jordan actually got fully lost because maybe I should have just restarted and grabbed the lighter and continued with it. But I ended up like getting to the end, but I feel like I missed the whole game. Like I feel like I got to the end and I'm like, okay, the game finished. I got the end of the game, and I was like, wait, I don't even know what the story is. I don't even know what's going on, like other than like the feeling of just being so cold, and just reading like a couple of texts about being stranded. I really like the mechanics. I really like the idea of like right hand, left hand thing that they have with the stick.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely got lost. In my experience, I honestly don't know what this game is about, and I didn't want to restart to get the full experience because I wanted to know how other people are gonna play the game before I start. Because I felt like me playing it once was the way it was intended, and me getting lost was what it meant. If I get lost, I get lost. You don't get chances in real life. So. It was cold. It was a cold winter for sure.
So one thing you said there, you mentioned To Build a Fire by Jack London. I don't know if you knew this ahead of time when you made that comment, but some of the quotes in the game were directly from that story.
Really?
So, shout out.
Cool.
Can we give some
Nice.
art school bonus points over here to Amar for I'm loving it.
Cool.
I
The
love
freshman
it.
did a good
Freshman,
job.
you got a perfect A right there.
Freshman.
Yeah, and so that was one of several sources that they list for those kind of story elements. Jessica, how about you? What was your experience here with this game?
So like I said, I didn't read descriptions or trailers. I just was like, oh, I'm gonna play it. Okay. I had no idea what I was getting into. You just told me it's like post-human or something.
Yeah.
I thought I was just lost in a blizzard. And you know what? I got lost in the blizzard. Now with the lighter, I knew never drop the lighter. And I did not know there was going to be a problem with the snow and the cold. At first, I wasn't even sure if it was snow or just the funny, interesting art style. So, I built the fire thinking, I'm just stranded in the wilderness. And then I have to go get these words. And I'm like, I don't know what's going on, but okay. So I get those, and as it tells the story when you're at the fire, it's posting the words out of order all over the sky.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting how they did that. It's like he highlights certain words out of what he's saying. And as I got further, I played this first Friday night, and I got super, super lost. I was just like, I'm an explorer, so it's like, I'm supposed to go that way? Let me go that way and figure out what else there is to this game because I want to find it all. And I went out there and I sent you a picture of what I found in the middle of nowhere. And
oh gosh, I gotta get that up.
There was life words there.
Yeah, let me get that up. Can you remind me where you sent that to me, Jessica? I'm gonna get that up right now.
I put it on Facebook Messenger.
Facebook Messenger, okay.
And a personal message just between you and me. I didn't put it in the group chat.
Thank you. I'm gonna put that up.
You might need to crop it because I accidentally had my TV and stuff hooked up, so it was like double wide screen. But I found this really creepy thing in the middle of nowhere. Like literally I just saw whiteness and I just kept walking and kept walking and kept walking. I'm like, dudes, guys, I'm so totally lost. Don't know where I'm at. Don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what this game's about. Why? I don't know. So, and it also is like, stay quiet. Shh, it's above you. I'm like, wait, what the fuck's above me? I go up and I'm like, what the hell is that thing? And I thought this was about to turn into like a horror game. So I'm on the edge of the seat, kind of like nervous, like what the fuck's about to jump out and like try to eat me type of thing.
Well, it kind of was a horror game in some ways, right?
Horror survival element.
I found this like Satan ritualistic, like weird scarecrow thing that I sent Mike a picture of.
Yep, I'm about to put it up right here.
Weird. I didn't know why it was in the game, but there's actually life words, as they call it there. Later, I finally got back towards the path. I've made too many fires and used all my words. I went and found this other little house place, and they actually had another lighter there, but I never dropped my lighter. So I just carried the wood sticks because you need more wood than you needed the kindling. So I would collect the sticks, hold the lighter. I would set up the sticks into the fire, position, drop the other ones I'm holding, pick up the stuff to throw in there, and pick my sticks back up and light it. So that's how I played that. There's the little thing.
I didn't see that. Yeah, that's so cool.
I didn't see that.
I found him twice because I got to the house where the lighter was and some more words. And I had to build another fire by the time I figured out where I was supposed to go. And I got to the Stonehenge place. And it's like inscribed words of whatever, words of power, I don't know. And I didn't have any because I burned them all. So I had to quit. Today I restarted it and I went and I found that guy again, the little weird thing I sent you a picture of showing.
How'd you find him the second time?
I forgot to go back. Oh, I remembered which direction and the wrong way I went, and I found it. So it's instead of like when you go down the hill, instead of going right or left, you keep going straight.
That's the direction I went, and I must have just gave up too early. I was like, this is too much white. I'm going into nothingness.
I was like, I wonder if there's a wall. So I just kept going. And then I saw that. And I was like, I know better. And I turned around.
Yeah, the visuals, I think, were interesting. And they are in line with the other things that we've seen from Far Few Giants, where we're seeing very few colors. We're seeing a really unique aesthetic here. And part of that was also in this game, since you were in control, you actually saw these kind of creatures of sorts that were passing by the trees, but because they were pure white, you would only see them when the background of the trees was there. Otherwise, you wouldn't know that they were...
Wait, there was other things following me?
I don't even know what you're talking about. I just know the Leviathan above you.
So outside of the Leviathan, there's these creatures in the forest.
Oh, shit.
It's probably great that you did know, because it sounds like you were... So that's where, when you guys were saying it kind of felt like horror, yeah, it really did feel like horror, because you'd see these like creatures like kind of scatter through...
I thought it was just lighting when I was moving. I didn't know. Dude, I'm going back
Same.
to
I guess I saw movement, but I thought it was Blizzard. I thought it was a trick of my eyes or something. Because the art, for how simple it is, like literally just black and white, it's very interesting and
Very
beautiful,
evocative, for
and you
sure.
almost get a crackle on your screen of like being frosted up the longer you've been without a fire too.
Yeah.
So I just thought it was something like that.
Yeah, I'm really looking.
I didn't know what that was about. Sorry.
No, please.
When I start playing, I didn't know I could freeze to death. So I'm like la 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 la
Yeah.
talking during my stream, la 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 la, and then I'm like, what the fuck? Oh my god, I can't see. I think I need that fire. Is that the point of that? And I at least had more experience in my second playthrough, and I beat it today before the Let's Discuss playing that we're doing right now. But
yeah,
it's definitely interesting. Now I want to go back and play it and see what y'all are talking about.
Yeah, I want to play it some more. I ran into a couple glitches, which I think I've seen other people on their itch page have said that there's been a few glitches that people have come into. I think I couldn't start the fire the first time around at all, like even with all the ingredients. Again, we should say that this game just came out, so there will be some expectation of some issues like that, and I'm sure the guys are at hard work making sure to smooth out the experience. This was the game of all the games they've released so far, the one I've had to ponder the most. So my kind of reflection of this is I almost feel that when we're talking about a post-human environment, all of the kind of the quotes that were taken, the context that they were taken, make me wonder if this is kind of an allegory for how we treat the environment. That's kind of where I was feeling. There's not much written, or there's other videos of this game, but there's not really a consensus or enough people to really have this discussion. So I'm looking forward to talk with the developers. But that kind of last point that you did with the Steelhenge and kind of inscribing and talking about the mistakes that people like, ensuring that these mistakes won't happen again. I don't know if, to me, what the Leviathan kind of was is this looming environmental disaster that we all see with climate change looming over us, and we're kind of seeing the results of the climate change being that world, that post-human world. And so because humanity failed to act and didn't recognize the Leviathan, this giant, this giant threat that we're all facing collectively, this is the end result, and this is why humanity no longer exists. And so that's where I got all the quotes from. I don't know if that's the exact interpretation. I guess I'll find out tomorrow from the developers. But does anybody see where I'm coming from, or can? No? Okay.
I do. And one of my favorite things Jessica already mentioned was the backdrop of the words.
Yeah.
The way I kind of foresaw it was things were so bad, like you were dying, you were freezing to death. That's why it was almost like random words popping out, or like there would be question marks on the word, even though the word wasn't a question when you were hearing the voiceover speak it.
Yeah.
So it's just like, man, I'm losing it, dying while reading this dialogue out loud, or whatever. I assume you find a piece of paper on the ground or something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because you literally burn the paper, of course. And I'm just like, this is interesting. So maybe the Leviathan is like a hallucination too, because you're about to die, like 50 degrees below, making it 20 feet after lighting a fire. You ain't living much longer.
I was shaking my head because like I said, didn't get any of the quotes, right? Like I ended up like getting stuck, and I felt like this is my experience that, oh crap, I'm gonna die, I need to get somewhere. And actually, even watching the trailers, I feel like they added some symbols to tell you where to go without actually telling you where to go. So no diss to you, Jordan, but like should have figured it out. But,
no, I made it to the end.
Okay. So like I just ended up following the power line, which is hilarious because it's like it's just I guess the human thing to be like, okay, that's the road, and if I follow it, I end up just going on it. I'm fully role playing now, by the way. Turned off the lights.
I love it.
But yeah, that was the only reason why I didn't like. I know nothing about the story, so that's why I was shaking my head to you, Michael. I'm not disagreeing.
Sure.
It's just that I saw the words and I knew that I screwed up, right? It's like I knew that by not picking up the lighter, that's just my mistake, and I have to live with it. So.
Yeah, and I want to play it more as well, because some of the initial things, like I didn't understand that whole balance about like burning life, collecting all that stuff. I just wasn't getting any of the audio in my initial playthrough. So like outside of the initial story, I didn't see any of that in the first time around. So I have to figure that out. Madam Funsize, I know you have to jump right now, so I'm gonna. Hopefully, the other folks can stick around just for us to look at trailers. But do you want to say any last words about this or any of the other games before you have to hop off?
Let's see. Like I said, I liked it. At the first time, I was having problems hearing what the dude was saying, and I was still having some trouble. So I wish more of the there was a subtitle option. I get how they're putting the words up, so it's not going to happen. But I didn't understand some of what he was saying or coming from. I want to say it was one of the last ones, and I was streaming it. I'd have to go back and maybe highlight it or something. But there was one thing he said, and I can't remember what it was, but I remember it was really deep and made you really think about it. And it was right towards it was right at the end before I went up to the Stonehenge and stuff. It was one of the last things I burned, I guess you could say. So
Yeah.
it's interesting. I wouldn't mind seeing more. And the second playthrough, like I said, I didn't know where I was going. First time, I didn't know where I was getting into. So all the whiteness in the distance, I was like, oh, maybe it's just not buffering. So I'll just keep walking and go closer. And that's why I went way out there to see if anything would pop up.
Yeah.
And it didn't. And the second time, I stood at the hill and I really looked around. I was like, oh, before I knew the power lines was probably has something important to do. So this time I looked at it, I was like, I think that's the road. And then I saw the fence where I had found the first time finally to go towards the Stonehenge. And pretty much it was all just a line. If you could see it from the top of the hill, when you leave that first camp area and crest that top of the hill, you can see it all towards the Stonehenge. And it's just one big L. But you have to go out exploring into the cold to actually find your fire, fuel, and items and all of that.
Yeah, there's definitely more to dig into for sure. Well, we appreciate you being on. We really do. And we will be sharing your information, all your social media stuff for people to be able to catch you on Twitch tomorrow. So thank you, Jessica. Thank you, Madam Funsize. Any last parting words before you jump off?
Thank you all for having me. I enjoyed these games a lot more than I expected and had a lot of fun tonight. And I did check out the trailers that you guys are about to show tonight, and I am very actually interested in some of these games I saw. They actually look really fun. So
awesome.
I can't wait to see that episode next week. I'm very much looking forward to it.
Yeah, and we hope you will come on again. We really enjoyed the conversation.
Definitely.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jessica.
Take
care. See ya. All right, guys. So we still a little good on time. I know we're just going to check out these trailers. Yes, Amar?
Good.
I wonder if this game is way better to play with headphones. I just wanted to add that. I didn't play with headphones, but it sounded like it does the wind comes in from a direction you can actually hear where it's coming from. Go ahead.
Not
Jordan.
a direction, but just like the first two games by these developers, you gotta get in the mood.
Yeah.
You turn off the light, you put on the earbuds, and that's exactly what I did. You don't hear a direction. I didn't go full cosplay like you, unfortunately. But you're completely right. You can hear the blizzard around you. It immediately creates the sense of oh shit, I'm fucked. I don't see anything. Yeah. I assume I don't have very many clothes on, or not enough to. Is there an amount of clothes where you survive 50 below? Probably. But anyway,
Jordan, everything you've said from you got to get in the mood, clothes, talking about what thick marker to I can last 26 seconds. Please, somebody online slice these. You got to get in the mood.
Together, please. I would love to.
Thick boy lasting 26 seconds.
Big boy lasting 26 seconds. All
right. We're gonna make this happen. The wholesome content from the folks at Indie Game Club. Okay, so let's check out the any last words on this before we check out the trailers for next week?
Tell the developers. Go ahead.
Yeah, Layla, you think you're gonna give this a try?
Yeah, I actually like playing survival games. One of the games that I actually binged on was Don't Starve and Don't Starve Together. So I like playing the survival type games. I play a lot of Conan. So it being it's something that I would see myself getting into. So I definitely want to try it out.
Yeah, and we should say again that this is only about a 10 to 20 minute experience. So definitely easily digestible. Cool. So we are going to talk about the trailers for next week's show. Next week's going to be a little different than a typical indie game club because we got a theme around it. I guess we've kind of done themes around certain like musical styles or play styles somewhat, but this next week's episode is going to be cats versus dogs. And in fact, shout out to Emmy at the Athena Alliance. She had the brilliant idea of us bringing on our cats and dogs onto the episode. So I will be bringing on my dog with me. So we're going to make that happen, and let's check this out. The first game that we will be playing is Cat Lateral Damage. So let's check out Cat Lateral Damage here.
Are you tired of your cat having all the fun? Knocking things all over the floor without a care? Have you tried everything possible to get away with your cat-like behaviors? Such as blaming it on the cat?
What are you doing?
Oh, that was the cat.
Or dressing up like a cat? But who are you fooling? You're no cat.
But I just want a cat.
Now you can cat. With Cat Lateral Damage.
What?
Play as a cat on a rampage, trying to knock everything over before your human returns home. That book, on the floor. Flower vase, knock it on the floor. Dinner plate, floor. Fabergé, you get the idea. You'll keep coming back for more with procedurally generated levels, loads of collectibles, over 20 playable cats, toys to play with and mice to catch, and secret levels like museums and supermarkets.
That's incredible. I'm already playing.
Are you playing as a cat in a game?
Yeah. Do you hear something?
No, just keep playing.
Cat Lateral Damage, you won't be able to keep your paws off it. Coming soon to Steam, PC, Mac, Linux, and Ouya. Are you tired of...
So that was the trailer for Cat Lateral Damage. I haven't heard Ouya in a while. This game obviously was released a little bit a while ago. I feel like I need to pour one for the homies over at Ouya anytime that is referenced. So this is Cat Lateral Damage. The trailer essentially explains it all. Friends, what do you think about this one?
This is why I don't own a cat.
Yeah.
They're very cute. They're very cute. See? Very cute. They're so cute. That's a fluffy
I
kitty.
approve this game.
Yes, I love cats, but this is why I could not mentally handle a cat.
Yeah, we agree on this. I've never owned a cat. I couldn't handle it for sure.
I am very much a dog person. Like I don't think they're too feral for me. They still have that like undomesticated mentality, and I can't. No.
Yeah, I don't think they like us that much, but that's just me.
They're too tiny to kill us, so they they just entertain us for a little bit.
Amar is clearly on Team Cat. Is that correct to say?
Yeah. Well, I mean, having to decide is tough, but yeah, hopefully the Cat Squad and the next stream next week will help me out. It looks like there's a lot of dog fans in here. I just want to say, my friend actually donated to this Kickstarter, and he has his cat in the game. That was the reward. So,
that is awesome.
So I'm definitely going to be playing this. His cat's name, well, it was two. It was Wink and Magoo. So if you see Wink and Magoo, that should be your main cat to play with.
That's awesome. I didn't know. You didn't tell me that, Amar. That's awesome.
I love it. Yeah, we're getting quite a bit of reaction here. A lot of people liking the trailer. Hey, fangirl. Thanks for stopping by. Also, we have
big guy.
Chonkers. The cat is Chonkers. My Madam Funsize, who's just a guest, is jumping in the chat and saying my cat had 4 babies last night. They're next to my PC setup. Wow. So if you want to get some, it's a lot of cats. I can't handle that. I don't know if I can handle one. Jordan, how about you? Are you a cat or dog person? Neither. How are you feeling?
So I grew up a dog person, so if I had to pick one, I'd say dog.
Yeah.
But I want a cat. I actually want to get a kitten and a puppy at the same time and raise them together. I will say though, I will not I will not stand for them knocking over random. If they break glass stuff, I'll be like, dude, give me a freaking acid spray bottle. No, I'm just kidding.
Jesus, this turned real quick. It went from you warming up the audience's hearts with your, I want to raise a cat and a dog like in a post-species world, to suddenly us having to call animal control.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't use acid. That was an extreme thing. But no, so real quick, that trailer was hilarious.
Yes.
What the
well
hell
done.
was that? Like DV? Yeah, that was great. I've actually played this game. It is the only game before Indie Game Nights with you that I played from the itch
cool
bundle for racial justice and equality. And it's fun, and it's exactly what you'd think. It's hilarious. Just rounds, jumping in, knock over the stuff. It's great. Yeah. You guys are going to have fun next week.
Yeah, and we should say that two of our guests next week, both Athena Alliance members, Faye and Mystic Titanus, have both already streamed this game, so you can catch their clips. And in fact, I think I should be posting, Mystic sent me some clips, so I'll be posting hers by tomorrow, so definitely check it out. Johnny on Twitch is saying, this makes me excited for my soon-to-be cat child. Aw. Any other last thoughts about this? It looks like, Layla, you and I are the only ones who, I guess, haven't played this yet. Are you looking forward to it? Will you be checking this one out?
Oh, yeah, definitely. If I get, I mean, me personally, if I can destroy things virtually, it's okay. But like I said,
I love it.
So when you get cats, they are not your stuff anymore. The cats own the house, so technically they are destroying their own stuff. So that's the key to like be able to accept that all the glass items are not yours anymore.
Hashtag acid spray bottle. I'm with you, Jordan. I'm with you.
Wow.
I am the queen of my house.
Yeah.
Wish I never said that.
That's all good. That's going to get you canceled in like 30 years or something. Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, in my house, Jordan.
What am I going to be famous for? Famous sock designer, old tweets, old Twitch video.
I'm confident when StarCraft 3 comes out, you're going to be world champion, dude. I've seen you
when
play
you work for president, I will show you this clip.
Oh, no.
Exactly.
Oh, no.
Here we go. Let's see. Madam Funsize saying she forgot. Oh, she wanted to talk about how freaked out she was by the rat in the sink story. Speaking of cats and rats, there was a rat in the sink story in A Wide Ocean Big Jacket. Definitely check that out. That was one of the most memorable things I remember from that game as well. All right, folks, you ready to check out the next game? So that was a cat game. So the next game we are going to be looking at is Pet the Pup at the Party. That's the name of the game. And surprisingly, it's quite a popular game, but surprisingly, it doesn't actually have a trailer. So I'm going to play briefly just some gameplay for people to kind of get an idea, and then we'll talk about it. So this next game is Pet the Pup at the Party. I see Layla jamming out to the music there. So this is Pet the Pup at the Party. I'll give a bit of a description if you're confused. It is here's the description. You are at a house party. You do not know anybody, but legend tells of a very good puppo hiding somewhere in this house. The clock is ticking and you're running out of small talk. Can you find the pup at the party?
I knew immediately. Because there's always the memes on Facebook. It's like everyone else hanging out at the party, me petting the puppy.
Yeah.
I was like immediately, go find the puppy for sure. I'm definitely gonna play this.
Yeah, I am really looking forward to this one. I love the visuals. I love the fact, I think I read earlier that this is procedurally generated. So you're running through a house that if you start looking at the house, it makes no sense, right? You're running from a living room into a bathroom, into a kitchen, like that are like all together, like linear or something. This one looks like a lot of fun. And in fact, I've seen it embraced, I guess, in the speedrunning community as well. So people are doing speed runs to try to pet them pups. Amar, Jordan, what are you guys thinking about? Are you guys going to be petting these pups anytime soon?
We should clip that first off.
Yes.
And next,
For sure.
and next, you guys gonna be petting these pups. And then next, absolutely.
I like
man.
my dad delivery. Hey, y'all. Y'all pet these pups? Somebody's got to pet these pups.
Hey, no, these pups ain't pumping them. Anyway, that came out wrong.
Yeah. Somebody's got to pet these pups, folks.
Oh, I love the color of your glasses.
Xbox.
Anyway,
glasses right here.
Oh,
those
yes.
are dope glasses.
Thank you. I'll keep them on.
They're like my hand.
Yes.
I love the idea. I love the concept. Super relatable. I love cat lateral damage. Fun game.
Yeah.
Not as relatable as this game. Absolutely. If I'm at the party, I'm petting the pup. Like,
Yeah.
fact. I'm about to send this game trailer to my friend. Like,
Nice.
maybe multiple of my friends. It's awesome.
Yeah,
love
this is a party simulator right here.
Party simulator.
I'm
I'm just gonna keep these. Hey, you wore the.
Not.
We're all putting on things right now.
Yeah. No, it's definitely I like it. I mean, it's there's also like the meme within the gaming community also that
Yeah.
all video games that have dogs you need to be able to pet the dogs. Like that's how you get a 10 out of 10 good game or not. Is that you need to pet the dog. If there's a dog and you can't pet it, then that's just a waste. So I love that
Yeah.
this game is whole goal is just to find a dog and pet him.
I grew
Take off
up
glasses.
with dogs, and I resisted the idea of having a dog, but my wife and children like begged for it. My wife gave me an ultimatum: child or dog. So now we have a dog, and now she's telling me either another dog or child. So it's a never win situation for me in the Zytkow household. So people are looking forward to this game.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, totally.
I want to pet the
Sweet.
puppies.
Pet them
There's
pups.
different dogs, different names too.
Somebody's got to pet them pups. All right, let's do this next game, which is Go Morse Go Arcade Edition. So that is Go Morse Go Arcade Edition. Sorry, folks, I gotta get the sound. Okay, here we go. I'm just gonna keep these glasses on the whole time for whatever reason. This game here, folks, it says up to 4 players can cheer along with squad leader Samantha in the fast-paced game of telegraph cheerleading. When she yells, "Give me a B," respond by entering in the real Morse code for the letter B. Go Morse Go Arcade Edition has 4 game modes that will put your Morse code skills to the test. How about this, folks? We still got to make sure these kids know about Morse code, apparently. But actually, before I get your opinion, I know I'm going to hear some haters out there that are going to say, "Hey, Michael, those aren't cats, those are rabbits." Yes, indeed, most of the characters are rabbits, but you can select cats, and there weren't as many games to pick from that had clear distinctions between cats and dogs. So we're going with this for Team Cats. Any thoughts on this one, folks? Uh-oh, Layla, you're on mute.
I'm happy that it's multiplayer.
Yes.
So it's cool to throw in a multiplayer game where you can play with other people. I'm interested into what the mechanics are, like what you're pressing and whatnot. Just because I don't know Morse code, so I'm excited to play it and try it out.
Yeah. Jordan, you said yourself you were an Eagle Scout. I think at some point Morse code was part of the Boy Scout curriculum? Was it when you were involved?
No, it was an optional merit badge. I think I didn't take it, so no, I don't know much about Morse code. But same with Layla. I'm curious what the actual mechanics are. You like hold down a button or press different buttons, but you know, it could be cute, could be fun, getting the timing right and beating your buddies.
Yeah, because I think things like SOS and things like that, those are like done with like lights and beeps to signal that. Amar, how about you, my friend? Morse code is this your cup of tea?
This looks really interesting because it is actually teaching you like almost like a real life skill in a way to communicate.
Yeah.
And I like that idea behind it, is like bringing in something that is, you know, you can learn Morse code by just, you know, maybe getting like a book or, you know, a list and going through it that way. So gamifying it kind of like almost like gives you this skill. I know Morse code from like when we were. Well, I think there was a cartoon or something, but they were like using their pens in a school to communicate with each other with Morse code, and I thought that idea was funny. They said that it's the arcade edition, and I think that's just the game, because I can also see this being like a real life arcade with the actual Morse code, like hammer thing. I don't know what they call it, but like if that is a thing, like you actually have 4 people around and like you're kind of like all trying to do it. That sounds like a really cool concept in that way.
Yeah, and we got some folks. I don't know if Yawatag says his daughter will love this one. I don't know if he's referring to the last game or this one, but definitely appreciate you jumping in here. Boom Clover said would consider playing just to learn Morse code. Yeah, I mean, I think this is kind of a lost art, so to speak, right? This is really around. It reminds me, though, has anybody seen Parasite, the Korean movie that won Best Picture last year at the Oscars? Wasn't there kind of a Morse code kind of element to that as well?
Don't spoil.
Okay, I'm not going to spoil it. I think so. I don't think it spoils it.
Okay,
but,
okay. You said lights. Yeah. It's not a huge spoiler. We're being vague enough.
It's going to make you want to see
there was.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to this one. I should also say, to Layla's point, that this is one of the first multiplayer ones we finished on Indie Game Club, which is interesting because Potions and Pixels, pretty much our whole like foundation of our gaming events, has been pure indie game multiplayer. So I'm sure people who are watching and participating have been like, how the hell have you not put a multiplayer game in yet? But we will be featuring many more multiplayer games, spicing it up a bit. So it sounds like people are looking forward to this one?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Totally.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it looks cute.
All right, let's go to our final trailer of the night. So this was one of the Team Cat games. Let's go to our final trailer, which is Puzzle Puppers.
Oh ho ho.
So Puzzle Puppers, as you can see there, has a very short trailer, giving a bit of a description here. Puzzle Puppers, which we should say Polygon, their quote from Polygon says, 12 out of 10 would solve puzzles with these pups again. Puzzle Puppers is a puzzle game about stretching cute dogs to their food bowls, easy to learn, difficult to master, with deceptively simple puzzles and mechanics. How are people feeling about Puzzle Puppers? It's a straight-up puzzle game.
Is that in the racial bundle?
Yes, all these. Yes, we should say all 4 of these games are in the bundle for racial justice and equality that Jordan just referenced from itch.io. I think which will go down in history as the greatest bundle of all time, the greatest value, the amount of games. I think it's something like 2,000 something games for $5 with all the money going to a good cause. Yes, all of these are from that bundle. Thoughts about this one?
I'm downloading it right now.
You're downloading it right now. Okay.
It's cute.
I want to get it, but I also know that I will be super angry trying to solve some of the puzzles.
Yeah.
And it's that's kind of like the kind of games. It's like I'm super enjoying this, and it's like the good frustration of trying to like come up with that perfect solution. So I will get it, but I will not be like laughing playing it, but I'll be more like just focused trying to get it.
Yeah. Layla, how about is your rage senses and rage meter going off right now? Is this something?
It might be minimal.
Okay.
It's too cute.
Yeah.
But then again, I rage at Animal Crossing, so we'll see.
Yawatag on Twitch is saying, I've seen this type of puzzle game before, but not with cute dogs. Yes, that is true. It's I think that's one of the cool things about it. So overall for this coming week, y'all, we got 2 games featuring cats, 2 ones featuring dogs. Which ones are you most excited about?
After all of the ones I just looked at, I want to play the puzzle puppers and the cat. What is it?
Cat lateral damage.
Yeah, collateral damage. That one. Those 2 are my favorite so far.
Amar and Jordan.
And then pet the pupper at the party. Man, I don't know why I didn't think you would ask me if I'd pick the dog games or the cat games.
That's a Jordan thing.
I guess the dog games. I guess barely an edge, maybe. Cat lateral damage is really fun though.
Yeah. Amar,
Jordan, you wanna? Jordan, you know me so well. Which one do you think I will pick?
You pick the cat one.
I think he's
one?
gonna go dog. I think he's going dog.
Which one? The Morse code cat one.
No, I would actually play the cat level just because I have my friend Kickstarter and he has his cat on there, so I have to see that cat. Like that's just a cute idea.
Yeah.
So, but I think I'm gonna end up playing all of them. Honestly, they all look cool.
Yeah, please let us know what you think. Maybe one of these days we can do like a mega indie all-stars episode and just have like 30 people on the show. We can talk about that because I think people are excited about this upcoming one. Awesome, folks. Well, those were the trailers for next week's games. As we do with most of these shows, the last question I have for our guests before we sign off here is, what are you guys playing right now? What are you, outside of Indie Game Club stuff, what's on the docket for each of you? Layla, let's start with you.
Recently I just started playing Resident Evil 5 again. So it's been really good to play. I want to go ahead and go through it and beat it in the 5 hours so I can get my unlimited rocket launcher.
Nice.
So I just blow everything up. Other than that, I'm still playing Monster Hunter World Iceborne, and I'm also playing Soul Calibur. Soul Calibur is my rage game. Like whenever I'm raging and I want to play something like to take my frustration, I go straight to Soul Calibur. So I've been playing that, and obviously all the indies. But yeah, I think that's it. I'm trying to get back into Shinobi Strikers. That was the first game I ever started streaming. Whenever I first decided to stream, so I'm wanting to get back into that too. So a lot of things that I'm playing right now.
And Layla, can you let everybody know how they can follow, like, subscribe, all that good stuff to the content you produce?
Yes, of course. So definitely you can find me on Twitch. That's where I live for the most part. Outside of that, the Athena Alliance in our Discord, we do trivia night. We do all types of events. I do anime afternoons every Sunday where we watch an anime together. Also, all my social media is Angelic Layla. Most active social media that I use is Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, and then Twitch and all that stuff. So that's about it.
Well, we appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. Let's clap it up, everyone, for Layla. Thank you so much.
I enjoy being here. So.
We really appreciate it. Always fun to have these conversations with you. And we should say, as Layla mentioned, the Athena Alliance. Everybody, don't leave just yet, because at the end of this stream, we're going to make it a tradition now where we're going to be rating some of our friends on Twitch, which, if you don't know what that means, it just means we're going to be sending our viewers over there. So I think I see FemFox Fatale is on right now, so hopefully she'll stick around and we can send all of our folks there. So stick around just for a few more minutes, please. Amar, how about you, my friend? How can people follow, like you, and what are you playing?
I think playing a lot of StarCraft, as Jordan would know, actually, because I was playing with StarCraft, so that's, you can't escape it. So a lot of StarCraft 2, and I'm actually getting better at that, so that's a good thing. I played one game called Kids, and that was a game that was like a 15 to 30 minutes. I think it was actually in this bundle.
Yeah.
Michael, you need to play that.
I played it. I played the previous game from the designer as well. I'm a fan.
Oh, nice. Yeah. That game was like a quick, good game. But other than that, I guess maybe working on my own game, testing that was a thing. So like again, you can follow me again, and I would say I'm kind of looking for testers. I have a game called Chef Core right now, and it's a puzzle tile matching game. So you should be able to play it in 2 minutes if you want to try it. And give me some feedback. I actually want to get some feedback on it before I go bigger on it and sharing it. But
yeah, let's share that with our community.
Yeah, find me everywhere. It's itch.io/Amarika, which is AMMARRICA. So yeah,
love it.
Thanks.
Let's clap it up for Amar. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Hell yeah.
Really appreciate it. Love it, love it, love it. Awesome. Jordan, finally, let's go to you, my friend. What are you playing, and how can people keep up with all the stuff you're doing?
Well, I've still been playing a lot of StarCraft.
Yeah.
Playing some Dominion board game with some of my friends online.
A lot of fun.
I just started a new Dark Souls run, Soul Level 1, where you never level up. You just level up armor and weapons and stuff, and that's been fun. A little bit different take on the game. And yeah, I will be streaming more soon. I'm going to be playing StarCraft as the off races, and I'm going to be playing indie games and stuff. And I'm at twitch.tv/Tempest636. So give me a shout there if any of that sounds up your alley.
Love it. Let's clap it up for Jordan. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you being on, my friend. Always fun having you guys. I love the fact that we all have differing opinions. Like this wouldn't be fun if we all just came on and just agreed to every little thing together.
Oh yeah,
I love.
I'm analytical. I'll say it.
Yeah, and I want to get a smile on your face, Jordan. I know this week it seemed like you were like quite the tough critic. Yeah, you weren't. There's a high bar that we have to reach, so you need to check out the other games that we're doing. Maybe we can get you on a week where we can get some more smiles.
It's the art school. The art school broke him.
Yeah, art school.
Are you kidding me? Hexagon broke me, and then art school was just like, okay.
Yeah, that Indie Game Club will do that to you. Awesome. Well, I'm going to do our little outro right here, but I'm going to thank our guests this week. I really appreciate you all, and I will sign off with you all, and I'm sure I'll check with you soon. Love y'all. Appreciate it, and thanks. Y'all take care. All right, everybody, that was Indie Game Club. Of course, we do that every Monday and Thursday, so we hope that you will join us again. Mondays, of course, is when we play games. Thursdays is when we discuss them. Again, stick around because we are going to be rating one of the members of the Athena Alliance. It looks like FemFox Fatale, one of the founders of the Athena Alliance, is on, so we will be rating her shortly. Hey, thanks Riley Lewis for following. Really appreciate that. We want to thank all of our amazing guests. These folks, fantastic folks. I really can't say enough positive about them. They are fantastic. If you enjoyed these types of conversations, please make sure to like, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff to us on all of our social media platforms. We also do a wide variety of other community conversations on Tuesdays. We've hosted conversations such as Black Voices in Gaming, which you can catch on our Facebook and YouTube archives. Women in Gaming with the amazing folks over at the Athena Alliance. This was a fantastic conversation. Make sure to check it out. Custom Game Controllers, where we explored the art, technology, and people behind custom game controllers. Again, all of these sponsored by our friends at Lowe's. We really appreciate their support. This was also sponsored by our friends at Red Bull, who provided a game, an arcade stick. And then recently we had Games to the Rescue, a conversation exploring how games are being used to fight coronavirus. Yes, indeed, it is true. Outside of wearing a mask and practicing responsible social distancing, you can fight against coronavirus by playing games like Eterna and Foldit, which can actually translate into real-world results. So make sure to check that out. This week we had Black Voices in Esports, which was a wonderful conversation where we really dug in deep into the landscape of esports and Black Voices in esports specifically. So we really enjoyed that and hope you all did too. Next week is going to be postponed, folks. We're gonna switch the schedule around. So I know it says September 8th, but we will actually be having a different event going on that day. I just wanted to show this graphic to let you know one of the events to look forward to, Hispanic Voices in Gaming, which will be moved to October 13th. So I will change that. Of course, outside of talking about games, we love playing them, so make sure to join us for online game night, which happens every Wednesday and Saturday in our Discord. And if you are not in our Discord, you got to get on that. It's a lot of fun. We really enjoy it. We play a wide variety of board games and video games. On Wednesdays, we also do our Smash and Learn sessions. This is part of the Potions and Pixels online league. This is a free league welcome to everybody. In fact, it's designed for all skill levels and all ages, so we hope you will join us. This is an opportunity to level up your skills, learn some techniques, learn about different characters. We have Friday Smash sessions called King of the Ring, again, open to all ages and all skill levels. This is an opportunity to scrimmage in preparation for the tournaments. And the tournaments we have every weekend. These are the top 3 winners of our bronze tournament that we had, as well as the top 3 from our silver tournament. Now, you'll notice the reason why we have rankings in here is to allow you to have a better experience. So you're going to be playing against people of a similar rank. I think you all know the issues with traditional tournaments is that you kind of just, the best player kind of sweeps the board with you know, knocking out all the newcomers. And so this is an opportunity to play against people of a similar skill. With that said, though, we have a gold level tournament this Saturday, and this is a tournament that is open to all ranks. So the gold players will receive priority seating, but all silver and bronze players will be open to join it. Okay, folks, so now we are going to transfer folks over in a raid. Let me make sure I'm doing this right. I want to make sure I got the right command. So stick with me for 1 second because I'm honestly forgetting if it's a / or \. And if you give me 1 minute here, I will figure that out. And we are going to send folks over to... does anybody in the chat remember whether it's a / or / for rating? Let me see if I can get this right here. I'm gonna have to learn this for sure. Let's see. Sorry guys, 1 second. All right, / raid. Okay, there we go. We are doing it live. So boom, boom, boom. Stick around. We are raiding Femme Fox Fatale. Is this doing it right? Hopefully so. We'll find out right here. Yes, we are raiding Femme Fox Fatale right now. So make sure to come along with us. 4, 3, 2, 1.